What's going on, everybody? John on here with you. I am going to be a little early. This is a matinee day game, really about a 1 o'clock game on the Pacific time, 4 Eastern for myself. This is going to be an early game because I have article work that I'm trying to get through the rest of this week as far as all-star selections, picks that I like, team summaries, adjusted stats, all those things like that. So because of that, we're going to go ahead and get this early game now, get that stuff done throughout the week, and then probably Saturday maybe get to another one. We'll talk with Cooper Hopkins when I get a chance to see what we can do as far as the schedule and everything else is concerned. But let's go into our starting lineups for tonight. This should be a big contest. It's only the second time these teams have met, only the second time they will meet between the interconference matches between the East and the West. It sounds like this. Tampa Bay Lightning 27-13-1. They're third in the Atlantic. They have Brayden Brandon Hagel, and Nikita Kucherov, Victor Hedman, and Zach Bogosian, first line defense. It's Steven Stamkos, Anthony Cirelli, and Alex Horn, Mikhail, Sergachev, and Cal Foote. Nick Paul, Ross Cold, and Pat Maroon, with Ian Cole and Eric Chernak, and Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, Vlad Nemestikov, and Corey Perry will round out the fourth line for John Cooper's squad. Should be the Big Cat, Andrei Vasilevsky in goal for the Tampa Bay Lightning. For the Seattle Kraken, they just completed the first NHL road stand in history and went 7-0 in that road stand. First time that's ever been done. They're 26-12-4. They're sitting second in the Pacific. In fact, with a win today, the Seattle Kraken would have the same amount of points as the Vegas Golden Knights to be the first in the Pacific, and only 1 point behind in totality in the Western Conference of the Winnipeg Jets. That's how good they have been. It sounds like this: Matty Beniers, Andre Burakovsky, Jordan Eberle, with Vince Dunn and Adam Larson. It's Alex Wenberg, Ryan Donato, Jared McCann, Jamie Alexiak, and Justin Schultz. Again, because Jaden Schwartz sustained a little bit of an injury, it's Ryan Donato on the second line. Yanni Gourde, Eli Tolvin, and Oliver Bjorkstrand, with Morgan Geekie, Brandon Tanev, and Daniel Sprong. So Morgan Geekie is going to be the one that's subbed in. He's been on the fourth line. Ryan Donato gets moved up. It'll be Carson Soucy and Will Borgen on the back end defense. Martin Jones should be starting in net for the Seattle Kraken. Again, he's been good for where he is. So Stamkos sitting on 499 career goals. This could be his 500th goal if he gets one today. That would be big. And this will also be big for Tampa Bay to go 2-0 in this season series. Seattle Kraken got overwhelmed early a little bit, even though they had some of the same amount of shots and things like that against Tampa in the first game. We'll see what happens in this one. Because for me, I'll look at it like this and take it a step further. Yes, it was 7-0 on the road stand. Yes, it's never been done before. You come back, I'm sure you're going to get a standing ovation from the fans right now at Climate Pledge Arena. What do you do with that energy within the first 5-6 minutes of the game? Does that kind of pump you up, get you through Tampa Bay, and you make that push? Or is this going to be one of those games where Tampa knows how good you are, and you've been coming in and playing all these games, stopping everybody on the road, and going to go ahead and make their push? Because, look, during the 8-game win streak that Seattle's riding right now, which is the best in the NHL, they've knocked off New York Islanders, Edmonton Oilers, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Boston Bruins during their road streak. It's already good teams. And their schedule still follows with more good teams in Edmonton, New Jersey, and Colorado. But since they've already beaten all those, you think Tampa's going to be up to the task. Tampa, on the other end, they've won 7 out of the last 10. They look like the same team that they've always been at 27-13-1. And Brandon Hagel, he's one of my players to watch, especially in this season. I know Cooper Hopkins said that before during the playoffs. 16 goals, 19 assists, 35 points, and a +10. He's looking very comfortable now, since being acquired from the trade deadline last year. So this should be a good one. Enjoy the matinee day game. When we come back, we'll call first period puck drop. Stay tuned.
For a limited time, get welcome unlimited for just $25 a line. $25? And it's guaranteed for 3 years. Gotta keep it down. I'm switching. I think the bike is faster.
Now is the best time to switch to Verizon. $25 a line, guaranteed for 3 years. The savings that last from the network you want. Verizon.
On an urgent fan spell by Dr. Pepper.
Hurry! It's almost getting a fan. Oh, they locked me out. What's the password?
We're just going to go ahead and give you the starting lineups for this matinee day game. Tampa Bay Lightning, it sounds like this: Brayden Brandon Hagel, Nikita Kucherov, Victor Hedman, and Zach Bogosian. It's Steven Stamkos, Anthony Cirelli, Alex Killorn, Mikhail Sergachev, and Cal Foote. Nicholas Paul, Ross Colton, and Pat Maroon. Pierre Edward Belmar, Vlad Nemestikov, and Corey Perry. Dean Cole and Eric Chernak on the back-end defense. It's the big cat and goal with Andrei Vasilevsky. For the Seattle Kraken, it's Matty Beniers, Andre Burakovsky, Jordan Eberle with Vince Dunn and Adam Larson, Alex Wemberg, Ryan Donato, Jared McCann with Jamie Alexiak and Justin Schultz. Yanni Gourde with Eli Tolvin and Oliver Bjorkstrand. Carson Soucy and Will Borgen will be the back-end defense. Morgan Geekie, that's the fourth-line sub there because you have the injury to Jaden Shorts. So it'll be Geekie, Daniel Sprong, and Brandon Tanev on the fourth line for the Seattle Kraken with Martin Jones in net. This should be a good contest for the matinee day game because of the article work and everything else going on this week. I'm not going to have a lot of broadcasts, but we'll get that going. And I'm excited to bring this one to you, and then probably next Saturday will be the next part of the broadcast. So stay tuned for first period puck drop. It's coming up next.
And now the very fine PA voice of beautiful Climate Pledge Arena, Jeff Buchanan. We ask that you please rise and remove your hats for the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner. Joining us today is a service member who currently serves as a divisional leading petty officer for the Freedom Unit, covering all of us. If you will sing the Star-Spangled Banner, please welcome the singer, songwriter, and community organizer in Seattle, Shayna Shepherd. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's light what so proudly evening at the twilight's last gleam, whose footsteps and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we rise were so gallantly streamed, and mighty thread the bursting in air gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave for the land of the free and of the brave. Let's go outside the Kraken dressing room. Here's Piper Shaw.
Thank you, John and JT. Eli Tolvanen has 4 points in the Kraken's last 4 games, 3 of those being goals. He's really made
What is going on, boss? How are you doing?
Surprise, surprise, my friend. This is the way I like to approach things now, John. I just surprise you by joining your broadcast. How does that work for you?
Oh, this works out great. This is a huge matchup. This will be the second last meeting for these two teams. Seattle Kraken, as you know, we've been watching along, Cooper. It's a 7-0 road stand. They come back home to Climate Pledge. It's Philip Grubauer versus the Big Cat, Andrei Vasilevsky. What are you thinking about this game?
Well, you know what? A player that was just on my screen that I'm going to be keeping an eye on is Eli Tolvanen, who came over to the Kraken and has goals in 5 of his 8 games played with the home team here. It's going to be Grubauer in today. I want to see how he performs. Obviously, Martin Jones has been playing more for Kraken. But we got Vasilevsky, like you said, versus Gruby. And it's going to be a huge game here. Kraken looking for their 9th win in a row, John, and we're underway.
So here it is now. Victor Hedman's going to touch the puck as he brings us across for Brandon Hagel. They're going to go right to left in this first period. They got the road whites with the blue pants. Seattle Kraken have that home navy that Cooper Hopkins got me that I'm wearing right now with the Matty Beniers. This is picked up by Mikhail Sergachev in behind the net. Tolvanen going to take his time. It's Oliver Bjorkstrand. Pick it up now as Bjorkstrand try to get this up to the D side. And Adam Larson will check up here for the Kraken. So I imagine here, Cooper, that there is not going to be an empty seat in the house at Climate Pledge for this game. They want to be able to, after the long road stand, bring some energy here for the home team against the big-time matchup. It's the three-time Stanley Cup final activists there in the Tampa Bay Lightning. So this should be a lot of fun. Jared McCann's got 22 goals in the season. He's waiting toward the right wing side to be able to get this one out. Ian Cole will put this up for Chernak. This one gets solved by Grubauer toward the right side post, and then denied off the wraparound opportunity was Ross Colton. So Tampa is starting this one early, and again, you would have to imagine that they would. You have to take the Seattle Kraken team seriously. That's sitting second in the Pacific. So picked up now, as this is dumped down by Jared McCann, high off the end glass, and Eric Chernak will get this across. Cole, as this gets dumped out of the air, picked up with the glove hand, Andre Burakovsky, the pickup from the Colorado Avalanche. Boy, has he been a good one. Tied with the team lead in points. Cole, cross pass, get this across the red line as Seattle will solve it and pick it up. It's battling through the neutral zone right now between these two teams as it's picked up by Anthony Cirelli just for the moment until Will Borgen tries to get this out. Alex Horn will flip it. It bounces right out in front. What a stop by Grubauer. That was right on the doorstep, and then Stamkos with a one-timer. As this gets picked up now by Bogosian. Again, Stamkos is one goal away from 500. We've been waiting for that for a while, and he could very well get that in this game. Andre Burakovsky can't find it. Tampa's all over this puck right now, shot into the slot, and Grubauer gets the hold that was really needed. The first three shots are Tampa's.
Wow, John, yeah, Grubauer busy here. The Lightning were buzzing there in that last sequence over the past about 60 seconds or so. A couple of good saves made, and you made a nice call on Colton's wraparound attempt. I got to give a lot of credit to Schultz, who came sliding across on a knee and I think had a good hand in blocking that scoring attempt. But the Lightning are all around it right now.
And this is what it is with Lightning, what they're going to do. And Philip Grubauer, I think his save percentage is just a tick below 900. So this is a big-time opportunity for him to be able to get this start against a team like this and continue to improve those numbers. So face-off win for Tampa, and Hayden Fleury going to fire one right on as this gets picked up by Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. It's Vlad Nemestikov on the fourth-line side here for John Cooper's squad. And Perbix, I think he's out of the lineup right now, so he's one of those guys on the third line that would be there. This one gets tipped. Corey Perry runs into Grubauer, and then Tampa throws the body toward the right side boards. Picked up now, Bellemare. Nice little spin off the right side boards. And now it's in the middle of the slot. It's saved by Grubauer. He's down. He makes the rebound save, and now Turbo, Brandon Tanev, going to bring this one across to Morgan Geekie. His shot gets canceled off by the big cat toward the left side pad. And now we'll see if the Kraken can go ahead and bring some pressure. As here as Adam Larson goes ahead and tries to find it. Daniel Sprong will cancel him out. And now Fleury will take his time. There is a broken twig right next to him. He's just going to move that around and have a little chat with the big cat here. 16:20 left to go in this first thereabouts. 4 shots to 1 in favor of Tampa. We have no goals just yet. We're at Climate Pledge Arena. John Ott, your play-by-play man, joined by Cooper Hopkins. Very happy at that because this is a huge game as this is picked up now between Larson and Dunn. One of the very best plus-minus defense that they have. So Tolvanen put this across the right side line. And now Oliver Bjorkstrand tries to get to it, but good play there by Tampa Bay just to put this toward the left side wall. And Victor Hedman will get this all the way down. This is not iced, so Will Borgen on the third line defense here will take his time for Dave Hakstol's squad as the offense will go ahead and take their line changes. 15:45 left in the first. Kraken game the entry. Yanni Gourde, he's against his own team. He's toward the left side of the red line. Jared McCann. We'll get this out to D. Carson Soucy. Lets it go. And this one gets shot wide to the left side of the post as it whistles off the glass. Can't be kept in by the Kraken, though. They're going to have to rush back in their own end. Play this off the embankment, off the glass. And now this will ricochet all the way back. So Pat Maroon's going to get in there and throw the body as he usually does, as McCann can't locate it. And now here's a chance for Ross Colton looking for a tip. And it was stopped by Grubauer.
Yeah, John, I mean, more of the same here. The Lightning looking very strong here in the first 5 minutes of this game. Grubauer with a nice freeze of the puck there on that fairly routine save. And the Kraken still with just one shot. That one shot wasn't particularly dangerous. I wouldn't say they looked bad by any stretch, but I think they're getting their feet back under them here at home.
I definitely think so too. And again, Cooper, this probably doesn't surprise you the way that Tampa's playing, but you know going in, right? They're looking at it, what Seattle has done, and they're going to give their best effort today.
Yeah, absolutely, no question about it. I mean, I'm definitely curious to see if Stamkos can get his 500th. I, of course, am personally rooting for the Kraken, but it's going to be an exciting contest.
Yes, it should. So defensive zone face-off by Tampa. This gets dumped down in the zone now. Ian Cole. And behind the office here of Grubauer, Jimmy Alexiak. He's about 6'5". He's a large human being. As this goes across the wall, Killorn able to get this to D, and this gets put in the glove hand by Grubauer. He's already 6 out of 6 making saves, 14.52 in the first.
Yeah, John, I think Grubauer's doing the right thing here, just freezing that puck, keeping things simple, because the team in front of him right now, like we said, still looking to establish themselves here back at home. And you were right, there's absolutely no empty seats at Climate Pledge. And you know, Seattle, it's a big draw. Even last year when they were struggling, of course, in that inaugural season, such a big event every time they were on the ice in Seattle. And I'm curious to see what they can do here. They're getting pushed around a little bit. I'm curious to see if they have the physicality as we get back underway.
We're going to find that out very shortly. Will Borgen able to get the pass out, but now Anthony Cirelli sitting the second line nowadays. He's just come back from injury. He's going to set up Killorn. That was a good opportunity, and that was blocked. As this was picked up, I believe, by Matty Beniers. He got that block. This goes down off of the stick by Andrei Vasilevsky, and that had to be played quickly. One of the Tampa D-men that just dove to knock it away in the middle of the slot. So Tampa going to take their time. Get a little over about 6 minutes gone here in the first. John, I'm here with you with Cooper Hopkins on play-by-play and color respectively. It's a big regular season matchup between the two teams that are really rolling right now. And the shot goes off the stick and right in the catching glove of Grubauer.
Yeah, John, you know, as we look at the standings, the Kraken still have a couple games in hand on some teams around them. They're sandwiched right between the Vegas Golden Knights and the LA Kings. Both of those squads, of course, having excellent seasons as well. But things tightening up a little bit. I know we talk about the Flames a lot, but the Flames and Oilers still in those wild card positions, just a few points back of the division leaders here. So there's a lot to talk about. I'm sure we'll get to it when we have the opportunity.
Yeah, when we get into our intermission, I got a few questions for you as well on that side, as well as this team, because I think even win, lose, or draw, Cooper, we have to take an extra beat in our intermission and give Seattle Kraken just desserts because they played well. Icing against the Kraken. Turbo can't get there, so it's going to be offensive zone draw here for the Lightning.
Yeah, John, there's not much more to say here. I know I feel like I'm sort of repeating myself here in the early portion of this contest, but the Kraken just seems to they seem to be, I wouldn't say fully out of sorts, but definitely not settled in, as Turbo was just chirping with somebody. I'm not sure if he was getting after one of the referees or one of his opponents, but he's a little hot right now. Maybe that's what Seattle needs to get themselves going here.
Yeah, they need to be able to find a little bit of energy here. Again, it's a long road stand to come back. It's very understandable. It's very difficult to ask against Tampa. And then you go back on the road and play Edmonton the very next day. So the schedule has not been easy here for Seattle, but they've made their inroads. Here's the interesting part going into the game is these teams are barely above 500 on opposite ends, where Seattle is at home and Tampa is on the road. They're both on the opposite sides of the spectrum, very, very good on those other sides, just like Seattle is on the road. But they need to improve this home record a little bit if they want to be first in the Pacific after the win today. So picked up now across the red line, Tolvanen and lost it, and this goes back to Victor Hedman. Victor Hedman has not had the same type of numbers that he's normally accustomed to, but that is okay right now because they've had some big-time production in a few other areas. So a shot gets picked up here, and this gets spun around the end boards. Seattle will take their time and try to go left to right across in this first period, but then a couple interceptions there from the neutral zone as this goes back to Nikita Kucherov. Again, good to see him healthy as the puck goes off sides.
Yeah, John, what I'm seeing here a little bit from Seattle are some, I would say, some partially tentative passes. I'd love to see a little more crisp passing, some more definitive decision-making, especially as the Kraken are coming out of their own zone. But we have, 7 minutes gone here, lots and lots of hockey to play, and the Kraken getting back to it as we hit our first commercial break.
So here's the deal, Cooper. You have the Seattle Kraken, like you said, right in the thick of the stuff in the Pacific, but did you expect at this point in the season, pretty much at the halfway marker, at least where Seattle is concerned, they have 56 points. They're 26, 12, and 4. This is a heck of a rebound season in the second season, and they look a lot like the Vegas Golden Knights did in their inaugural year, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and they're getting contributions from a lot of their lineup. It's great to see new additions. I know I mentioned him when we were just about to hit the puck drop. That Eli Tolvanen has just looked so good, and of course he was put on waivers, and there were a couple of teams, including the Flames, that passed on him. And he was a young star with high expectations. Wasn't really reaching the ceiling that I think a lot of people thought he would. And all of a sudden, Dave Hakstol's got it going, and that's made a huge difference on this road swing. And that road swing, of course, is what has put the Kraken within striking distance now of really the best teams in the West.
And I believe, if it's correct now, maybe I've just got the number wrong. The Seattle has 8 different players that have 10 goals or more. So they're able to roll out 4 different lines that can absolutely give you fits. And that's what a good team can do. And that's a lot of good depth as well. I think it's been a good draft for Seattle from the inaugural side. And look, we could talk about whether or not they should have taken Vlad Tarasenko. And again, Carey Price hasn't been able to play because of some of the stuff in the Players Assistance Program. But they didn't want to tax themselves against the salary cap. And it certainly seems like, Cooper, they made the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at any time, and it's of course very rare, even though we had one recently with the expansion draft for the Knights, everyone's got their magnifying glass out looking at your decisions. And Ron Francis was criticized a bit for some of the choices he made, but now in retrospect, with the success that the Kraken are having, you'd say, okay, hey, he was put in that position as general manager for a reason. He made some really good calls, and I think the benefits are showing out on the ice this season.
Yeah, they definitely are. So we're going to get back into the action now. This is picked up into the neutral zone as it's Victor Hedman. We'll get this one across the left side of the faceoff dot. Martin Jones, 21-5-3. Again, he was another one of those pickups. I'm not going to say he was on the scrap heap, but he was looking for an NHL team. And he's done everything that he's needed to do. And this is a slap shot for Stamkos that whistles wide at the left side post as Tampa continues to hem Seattle in. Victor Hedman can't hold it, though. And this will go back to Zach Bogosian. Now he's sitting on the first line on defense when he was on the third last year. Alex Killorn, nice windmill deke ahead as he tried to get around toward the right side of the faceoff dot, but he got canceled off toward the wall. Chernak keeps the hold. And Cole tries to shoot to the screen. And now Matty Beniers will try to go back and locate this. He's got the hold now. Makes a good pass to Jared McCann. I'm trying to get this back. Beniers going to have to spin back, though, in his own end. His forechecking has been very good here for Tampa. They've had a great first period, even though there's been no goals just yet. 6-2 on the shot board in favor of the Bolts. John out here with you with Cooper Hopkins. We're at Climate Pledge Arena, not an empty seat in the house between Tampa and Seattle. Beniers will send this around the kick plate as this gets picked up now by Tampa. Tampa will take their time with Brandon Hagel as he eludes a hit, and Matty Beniers kind of got in his way and poked it away as this is toward the left side boards. And now here's a chance off a 2-on-2. Brayden point, cross pass for Kucherov. He's very dangerous. You got to watch out for him. Great move for a setup. This bounces in front of Grubauer with the left pad, and he made a great move just to be able to buy some space. And now here's Burakovsky. To an open right wing. It's wide open, the shot, and this one gets blocked. This will get picked up here by Adam Larson. There's a stick near the left side of the faceoff dot. Matty Beniers will have to just whistle this around the end boards as Burakovsky can't get to it. And now Brandon Hagel. Nice seam pass ahead. Good spin by Brayden Point, but a good cancel-off defense there by Seattle. As they're in the midst of some line changes, they're crossing the neutral zone, and they'll put this one in. Hedman and Bogosian out there right now for John Cooper's squad on the first line defense with Pat Maroon as he's holding one of the men across the right side boards. Victor Hedman will flip this, try to get to the neutral zone, and they do. This is an entry now here for Colton as he just puts this around. He finds Pat Maroon. He'll do the same as he goes back to D-to-D. Zach Bogosian will put this in the office of Philip Grubauer. Seattle take their time as Eberle Tolvanen will get this one toward the left side red line. And Seattle will try to flip it out. They do get it out. Enter the neutral zone. Here's Bjorkstrand. See if they might try to get a shot here. It's been a little bit here for Seattle on that side. They have it in behind the big cat. Tolvanen takes his time. He shoots it low. It was stopped by the left pad of Vasilevsky, and this will stay with the Kraken. But there's all sorts of pressure right now on their own end. Victor Hedman will try to locate it. And this goes out through center ice. Picked up now by the Seattle Kraken. and across the red line. They'll get this across. Big Cat will go back and play this with the goal stick, and then a quick little pass across. D to D. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare will break out toward the right wing side. His pass bounces off the embankment, picked up now by Seattle. Hayden Fleury will hold toward the left side red line. As this gets loose out in front, couple stick clips, and I think we're getting our first penalty call here, Cooper, at 9:25.
Yeah, I think we are. I'm still, John, as is the case often, I'm about 5 seconds behind you on the feed. Luckily, it wasn't like when we covered the IHF juniors. But yeah, I think Corey Curry went down on a knee there. Was he hooked down, John? I'm not seeing the call here.
Right now, it says Adam Larson's going to be going to the box for the Seattle Kraken. That's what I got on my side for hooking Corey Perry.
Yeah, it was a hook against Perry. Good call. I think Larson is going to be sitting for 2 there. And as we hit another commercial break here, I do want to mention that Yanni Gourde had a nice deflection there in front of Vasilevsky, probably the Kraken's best goal-scoring opportunity of this first period. They haven't had a lot of success in that department. Those have been tough to come by. So it's nice to see that Gourde was right around it. And, you got to be looking for the Kraken just to stop the bleeding here with this first penalty kill. And then I would hope that they would be able to build some momentum if they're able to make the kill and then try to push that into some additional offense, don't you think?
I agree with you, Cooper. I think it's one of those situations if they can get out of this first period either tied or only down 1 goal, maybe that'll supersede enough of the momentum and nerves to go back out there and give Tampa a punch, because right now Tampa is kind of just dictating the pace of this fight, don't you think?
Yeah, and listen, you and I have done this a lot. We both have watched a lot of hockey in our lives. You get the gold medal in that respect. I'll take a decent silver on those rankings. But I think you and I would both agree that this is a game where you start to see after the first 3 to 4 to 5 minutes, it starts to feel, as we've seen in other games, John, where it's almost like that first one is coming. It seems like it's going to be inevitable for Tampa Bay. It's not if, but when. And so, Kraken are doing a good job. They're chasing it a little bit, and they've done just enough to keep themselves in shooting lanes, get a couple of blocks. And Grubauer's done well early, which is a nice sign for them. But you got to tilt the ice back in your favor at some point. So getting this kill is going to be huge in that department.
Yes, you do. And Cooper, this is an opportunity for us. It's only the second time that we covered a Tampa game that we get to see their power play in action. There was much maligned struggles during the postseason last year that we remember. Right now, they're at 29%, which is second in the NHL. And how is this for the Kraken for as good as they are? They're 31st on the penalty kill with 68%. I almost can't believe that myself. So this is a must kill right now. So Kucherov will put this around the end boards and try to find Brayden Point. This will go back to Hedman, set up the slapper for Stamkos. And this one will get solved by Grubauer, but it's not out. Turbo will get this to an open right wing, and this gets picked up here by Kucherov. Tampa looking dangerous. They want to find Stamkos. That was very exaggerated. He was wide open toward the left side of the post. Kucherov again. Set up for Stamkos, and that gets canceled off by Turbo. Picked up by Kucherov. Another one for Stamkos toward the right side of the pads, as this is solved by Grubauer. Cooper, we're going to have to keep a watch on that if that's the only plan of strategy to get Stamkos his 500. He's got 1 goal in the last 6 games.
Yeah, John, you saw that right there on one of those last attempts for Stamkos. They set him up in Ovechkin's office. He had a great shot on right there, but Grubauer, great positioning.
it was. Mikhail Sergachev now. Ross Colton's second line power play out for John Cooper's squad. Able to gain the entry toward the right side wall. Take the time. Nice backhand, and that goes off the stick of Grubauer. He's been busy, and he's been pretty good with the chances that he's had. Seattle trying to get this one out, and they do. This takes a fortunate bounce off the inboards. And now picked up. Hedman with Killorn. Killorn will put this one all the way back, and this goes to Mikhail Sergachev. He got a nice duly minted deal in the offseason that Cooper and I discussed. Very well deserved. This touches the stick of the big cat, and now Sergachev. Take his time. 5 seconds to go in the Tampa power play. I'd say it was pretty good, although you knew which way they were going. We'll see if they'll diversify their attack a little bit more. As it's 7:20 left to go in the first, it's scoreless. 11 shots to 4 in favor of the Bolts. We're at Climate Pledge Arena right now. There is not an empty seat in the house, and that's what we figured going into this one. This is a good contest. So picked up here by Nikita Kucherov. Boy, has he been an assist man this year. as this gets picked up by Carson Soucy. Put this around the inboards. Andre Burakovsky tries to locate it. He's just going to sit toward an open right side of the wall. The puck will get there. Eric Chernak can't get it. And now this goes back into the neutral zone. 6:45 left to go in this scoreless first stanza. This goes back to the big cat, played with the stick, and now intercepted there. Andre Burakovsky. Nice work along the right side wall. We'll see if Matty Beniers can actually go ahead and provide that support. He is the lone all-star right now for the Seattle Kraken. He's tied for the team lead in points. Kucherov trying to get to Stamkos as this goes back across the red line. Now Bogosian and Cole as they've mixed the lines out there for John Cooper's squad on defense. This goes back to Bogosian. You can tell him with the long beard. He's got the playoff beard at all times. So this will go back to Bogosian on their own end, and Tampa look to break out right to left across your radio dial. Right in the right side wall is Pat Maroon. He's a strong human being at that. It's Victor Hedman. Now for Paul. Bogosian will go D-to-D with the one-time slap shot. Sacrificial block. Secondary rebound goes toward the right side of the wall. It was saved by Grubauer, held in by Bogosian. Tampa's done a great job on that blue line side in this first period, Cooper, holding that puck in and keeping this play alive. Adam Larson will flip this one, chip it toward the left side boards. Eli Tolvanen out there with Yanni Gourde, former Tampa Bay Lightning man. He won the back-to-back cups, and now it's Nicholas Paul. He was a machine during the playoffs as well when he sustained that leg injury and scored a few of those goals. Now this will go back to Oliver Bjorkstrand, calling his Blue Jackets pickup. Bjorkstrand gains the neutral zone. He's just going to dump it in. This gets saved by the left pad of Vasilevsky. I think looks like Seattle just want to get a shot. A penalty call is upcoming.
Yeah, John, I'd like to see a little bit of fight here from the Kraken. They seem to push back a little bit, really be led by Brandon Tanev has shown some passion here in this first period, which has really been flying by. And Bjorkstrand did a nice job behind Grubauer there to spin, keep possession of the puck, and actually ended up drawing that penalty. I think we're going to get an interference here against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So it'll be the first power play for the Kraken coming up.
Yes, you are. You nailed it. Oliver Bjorkstrand was the one that drew it. Mikhail Sergachev going to go to the box for interference, and Seattle is going to go to the power play. So, Cooper, I don't know how sustainable that is, but can you ever imagine, and again, we don't have numbers in front of us, but Seattle's penalty kill is just sitting at 68%, and they have the record that they have. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, okay, so first of all, you're right. Second of all, let's spin it. Okay, John, let's spin it. Let's be positive. Let's lean to the Seattle fan base for a second and say, okay, what does that tell you? All right, first of all, not a ton of success killing penalties. It's very simple. The number says it all. However, that means you're doing a lot of damage 5-on-5. And that's what coaches want to see, right? You want to see when you have your full squad on the ice that you're making an impact. You talked about it. You made us aware of that the Kraken have been doing such a good job rolling all four lines, making those positive plays. And then unfortunately, we come back to the areas that can be improved. The Kraken, sure, they're playing great. They're an excellent team, but they need to clearly improve what they're doing when they're killing. They were able to do that against an excellent team here in the Lightning, but absolutely something that we're going to have to watch. And I think if the Kraken want to win this game here at home, especially the way they've been playing so far, keeping the penalties to a minimum is going to be very important.
So let's just put it in a vacuum here, Cooper, right now. If the season ended today, obviously Seattle will be in the playoffs. Do you expect them to at least be able to do enough to stay in this race and get a playoff spot at the end of the year?
I mean, in a word, I do. With a pretty high level of confidence. I do expect them to not only make the playoffs, but make some noise, especially because they've shown an ability to really give teams problems on the road. So even if they don't have home ice advantage, they can still do some damage.
Yeah, that says an awful lot about this team right now. As this is 5:05 left to go in the first. It's a Seattle power play, and this will go back in their own end, and this will get touched up here by Justin Schultz. Washington Capitals product. He was a good signing in the offseason. And again, when we're talking about some of these good signings, Ron Francis has made several of them and added to this depth that was already drafted, man, from now their second season. So picked up now. This is bounced off of the stick of Vasilevsky as Tampa was just trying to clear this out of their own end. And now this goes back to $1:20 left to go on the power play. Seattle tried to gain the entry with Schultz, and now he'll pass this back. And Seattle look to get set up right now. Burakovsky gains the entry here for Beniers toward the right side wall. Matty Beniers tried to pick this up off the backhand, but he was being hounded by Ian Cole. Kept in nicely there by Seattle as they're just trying to get set up here on this power play. Now Burakovsky will drop it back to the D. Schultz. We'll get this one for Daniel Sprong. Schultz has a lane to shoot at, and Vasilevsky makes a nice glove save there.
Yeah, John, some good ozone time right there for the Kraken after having a couple of clears sent down the ice by the Lightning. And let's keep an eye on Matty Beniers. Looks like he took an elbow to the jaw a few minutes ago. Doesn't seem to be too worse for wear, but obviously being the lone all-star, as you pointed out, for Seattle, want to keep him healthy and moving. And he made a couple of good plays there on that attempt in the ozone during the first minute of this power play. 54 seconds remaining. Let's see what the Kraken can do.
And not to mention a 20-year-old rookie, he might have to take some punishment in this game because Tampa's going to show him what it's all about to play in the NHL. So Eli Tolvanen will get this across to Vince Dunn now. Good setup there, but that was intentionally wide. Tolvanen will pick this up now toward the right dot. Try it again as McCann, and this one gets blocked. Good job there by Hayden Fleury as this goes back around the end boards. Tolvanen's been there the whole time toward the right side dot. I'll go back to D to D. It's Dunn. Tolvanen right out in front off the wraparound, and that somehow got picked up by a Tampa stick before it hit Vasilevsky. Now Dunn, as I'll spin around here, Dunn with another slap shot. He's got a howitzer. This one goes in through the slot, but the pass was wanting. That could have been an opportunity right out in front of the circles that just didn't materialize. So both penalties have been killed on both sides, just one apiece. And now here's a chance for Seattle as they'll gain entry off the red line with the slapper. Flip down, and this might go right to Stamkos. It does off of the cross pass, trying to look for Kucherov with the sauce, and Yanni Gourde came all the way back to find it. As Turbo will try to get a piece of it toward the left side wall. Now point. Stamkos. Good work by Seattle to cancel off that latest rush. Chernak lost it. And now this is a battle toward the right side red line. Turbo able to stay on side, keep the stick on, and that leg lifted as this is picked up here by Brayden point. Stamkos backhanded toward point, but it gets canceled off, and now Adam Larson. First line defense is out there right now for Dave Hakstol's squad as they'll put this toward the left side wall. Vasilevsky will calmly play this, although there was a forechecker there for Seattle, but Stamkos pick it up toward the right side wall and dumped in here by Mikhail Sergachev. 2:15 left to go in this scoreless first right now. It's a race for the puck, trying to gain an entry is Daniel Sprong, and Vasilevsky will do the same. He'll play it. It's loose and behind the net for a moment, as now Sergachev will make a great pass to Pat Maroon. Nick Paul, there was a shot looking for a deflection there, and that one got canceled off before it ever hit the Corey Perry stick. Toward the boards again, it's Ross Colton trying to find Pat Maroon. They'll go D to D and hold. It's Sergachev now, taking his time. He looks for the shot. This goes off the side of the net and sticks to it. It's kind of like basketball when it gets stuck off the side of the boards.
Yeah, John, you know what? You don't see that every day. It's stuck there kind of in the webbing where the webbing meets the strap, keeping the net intact against the post. That's a first for us, so chalk it up. It's another John Cooper Hopkins hockey game here. And I'm happy we got that moment because I have to tell you, unfortunately, I may have to step away from the broadcast here in a couple of minutes. But let's see how the Kraken continue to push back. I've liked their last 5 minutes or so. They got a minute and 43 seconds here left in the first to do some damage.
It's totally fine, man. I appreciate you just being able to hop in with me. We'll try to figure out something this weekend. I got a few things to work with that article, so it's not going to have as many broadcasts for me this week, but we'll figure that out and keep in touch. So defensive zone draw as this is flipped down the ice. Seattle will try to find it as Shorts would get to it, but nope. This gets picked up here by Belmar. And now here comes Chernak across the red line side. And now a race for the puck. Corey Perry will be the lone forechecker here as this gets picked up by Seattle on their own end, but they can't hold it. And now this will go back to D. Cole scores! And it was only a matter of time. This might have got tipped in front, but Tampa is off and running with 1:17.
Yeah, John, that's a great blast from the blue line right there. You made an excellent point earlier in this period, how well the Lightning have been doing there at the back end of the offensive zone, and that's where the goal comes from, a fire from distance. And that one beats Grubauer on the glove side. It looks like he's had a good first period, but it was, listen, I hate to say it, we made the prediction, and it was correct. The Lightning were all around it. It seemed inevitable they were going to score, and that was just a laser. And in fact, that was deflected right in front, up and over the glove by Belmar. I think you called that one. So excellent eagle eye right there. And unfortunately, it's always tough when you're the home team to go down late in a period. So the Kraken look like they're going to be down 1-0 here as we are just a minute 17 from the first intermission.
It's the first goal in the last 13 games for Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. He was in perfect position for that tip. Nobody was in front to be able to pick him up. So good job by Tampa. And here they come again with a slapper. That was Victor Hedman with some serious sauce. And that's right in the catching glove of Grubauer.
Yeah, John, so Grubauer, got to give him a tip of the cap. We always try to do that when it's deserved. It certainly is. He was left out to dry there a little bit. Belmar really not checked on that deflected goal right there, and it came late in the period, as we said. And let's see if the Kraken can get a little bit of a pushback here with about 60 seconds to go.
So the Kraken do win the defensive zone draw right now as Yanni Gourde trying to find it, but I think we're going to get an offsides. Everybody was stuck toward that blue line side. About 52 seconds left to go in this first frame. It's 14 shots to 6. Tampa's got the first goal. Seattle kind of taking a few punches here, but again, if they can keep this within one, as we said, hopefully they come out in the second period with a little bit of a pushback. So Cirelli will get this one as it was a quick draw. Sergachev will get this one down and through the offensive zone here for Tampa. Cirelli stuck toward the left side of the red line. And now this will be dumped back in by Sergachev. Grubauer will touch this one with the stick and looking for a breakout pass, a long one at that. It's a race for the puck right now for Bjorkstrand, but it gets canceled off by the big cat as it's played. And now Larson will hit this off the embankment, spin it around the end boards to Seattle, trying to gain that entry. Vasilevsky plays the puck, stolen momentarily, and then picked up here by Trunak. Oliver Bjorkstrand will put this here for Yanni Gourde toward the left side faceoff dot. Gourde trying to find this in between his skates. This could be an opportunity here for Tampa. 5 seconds, but they got to shoot. Hagel with a great pass and a cross for Hedman with a wrister. That was a good materialized play just before we get some pushing and shoving here with 3 seconds left.
Yeah, John, I'm not surprised to see it. Grubauer was required to make another pretty serious save right there, and you got Larson in there. I think Dunn, Gourde was even in there against some of his former Tampa Bay Lightning buddies, and I think the Kraken, after having a pretty listless period, not a memorable period by any stretch of the imagination, and not just because they're down 1-0. I just think the play overall, it wasn't, I don't think they had a stinker, but John, it just wasn't a very notable period in any positive way for the Kraken. Couple of opportunities. Gourde had a nice deflection attempt on the power play, but with a couple seconds left here before the break, the Kraken are going to have some things to talk about during the intermission.
Shot taken was blocked right off the draw, and that is going to end the first period. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare gives the Tampa Bay Lightning a 1-0 lead after one frame.
Yes, indeed, and that's 1 goal on 15 shots for Tampa Bay, just 6 shots for the Kraken, and of course, nothing on the score sheet for them so far. And listen, these are easy names for me to point out as we hit the intermission here, but we got to keep an eye on Grubauer. He's been asked to do a lot. Can he maintain that level of play? You'd like to think that after an entire period of some pretty decent goaltending that he'd be able to continue that. And I want to keep an eye on Yanni Gourde. He had one of the better scoring opportunities for Seattle, and Brayden Tanev has had some energy for the Kraken as well. So it's going to take their leaders really stepping up here because the Lightning seem to be putting their foot on the gas with that late goal.
Yeah, they are. It was a fun period. I understand exactly what you're saying, and I agree with you in the sense of Tampa's had the pursuit of most of it. But again, I think it's something that even as good as Seattle is, Cooper, you and I probably expected that going into this game, did we not?
Yeah, I think we both did. And I mean, even though this is something that's tough to quantify, right?
Right.
I think when a team comes back from a road swing where they've had so much success, there's just something about a team being out on the road together. You're on the flights, you're in the hotels, you have a certain routine that you're in, and returning home can almost counterintuitively be an interruption to some of that momentum that you've created on a road trip of that length. So, the Kraken deserve all the credit in the world, but can they translate that into this single home game? And I think, John, you said it earlier, then they're going to jump right into another road spot against the Oilers, or the Oilers coming to Seattle.
They have to go into Rogers Place to play Edmonton.
That's it. Okay, I almost confused myself just talking through it. But yeah, so So this is almost a one-off. You know, the Kraken come home to Seattle in the Pacific Northwest, and they have to face one of the best teams in all of hockey. So, you know, the fact that they're only down 1-0 after the Lightning really were clearly the better team in that first period. Lots of work to do, but they're only down 1, and you have to trust the team with as much success as Seattle's had that they're going to be able to answer back.
So, Cooper, I don't know how much longer you have, but if you do have a few minutes here, I'll go ahead and just throw this out there because we're looking at a couple All-Stars today. It's Nikita Kucherov for the Tampa Bay Lightning and Matty Beniers for the Seattle Kraken. Those were the official selections. I want to bring this back to the Calgary Flames, though. Nazem Kadri was the lone representative for the Calgary Flames. In 44 games played, 17 goals, 18 assists, 35 points. Do you think Nazem Kadri should have been the number 1 selection?
You know what? I do, and here's why. Not only has he contributed, thanks for breaking down the stats right there, he's really been, I would say, from those early games of the season, John, and we remember those, right, when the Flames started pretty hot. We remember all the way back to them taking down his former team, the Avalanche, in a pretty convincing fashion. But he's been consistent with a couple of cold spots, but overall, he has made much greater a difference than, I hate to make this direct comparison, but in comparison to somebody like Jonathan Huberdeau, who has not really had a highlight season so far and has not come into his own yet as a Calgary Flame. So Nazem Kadri, even though he's a newbie, deserves a lot of credit for making a big difference and keeping this team in the standings where they are in a wild card spot. And you could point to somebody like Rasmus Andersson, who is, of course, a little less known among fans and even around the league in general. He's been such a huge part of the Flames' success recently. 50 points last year, 4 goals and 46 assists. This year he has 6 goals. He had one yesterday against the Stars. Boy, the Flames just hung on to that victory, John. My heart was in my throat. It was 6-1 at one point, my friend, and they eventually get the win 6-5. My goodness. But Nazem Kadri, yes, I agree with that selection. He deserves that All-Star nod.
I was going to ask you about that one, too. I'm glad you brought that up. Because, again, we can talk about Elias Lindholm, but you and I know about this from the outlandish point totals when you had Tkachuk and Gaudreau there. I think you expect Elias Lindholm to lead that. Nazem Kadri doing the same thing, but, man, he came out like gangbusters. I think it's very deserving. So part of the article that I'm working on as well, as far as the team summaries, is giving me one player from each team that I think's had a great first half and one that I think needs to step it up. So for the Calgary Flames, you're our resident expert here, Cooper Hopkins. Who do you like, and who do you think needs to step it up in the second half? Give me one for each.
Okay, so I already mentioned the player that I like. I'm gonna stick with Rasmus Andersson. You and I have watched enough Flames games to know that there have been a couple of times, almost inexplicably, John, especially in their own zone, trying to make breakouts. We've seen Rasmus Andersson slip up a little bit, whether it's with just decision-making on the puck or movement off the puck, some turnovers that resulted in goals. I can remember a contest against the Oilers, Battle of Alberta, where that resulted directly moments later in a Connor McDavid goal that I think was the game winner a couple months back. But the reason I bring up those negatives is because those have flipped. Rasmus Andersson has really settled in. He's a leader on the team, still young, but has a lot of veteran experience as well. And it's starting to show. I think he's got great movement, great skating, has a bit more of a scoring touch than he did last year, and still providing assists. So, and this is all from the back end, right? We're talking about blue liner here. Mm-hmm. So he's really doing it all for the Flames. So there's my thumbs up to Raz. One player I need to see more from is Andrew Mangiapane. I think that Andrew Mangiapane, the bread man for the Flames, was expected to be more of a goal-scoring threat, and frankly, that is what the team needs. I won't be long-winded about it, but for somebody that has shown a scoring touch in the past, but hasn't been able to tap into that ability as much this year, he has a couple of nice goals, a couple of highlight goals, but in terms of the volume of just settling in as a reliable day-to-day goal scorer, I think he has that capacity, just hasn't been able to find it yet.
So here's the thing for me. Notably, like I said, I made a couple mentions. I haven't finished the stuff in the Western Conference yet. Everything is done for the East. I got to get started for all the stuff on the West. So without you even looking at it, without me even sending you anything, we already agree on the standout for the Calgary Flames. And again, we can't include Nazem Kadri because he was already selected. And Elias Lindholm, I agree, he's already had the same point totals. that you would expect him to do that. So I agree with you on that side. I was actually going to go a different direction on what I would like to see an improvement for. And maybe this is trades. Maybe this is a completely different thing from Andrew Brunette and the Florida Panthers last year. I'm actually going to go with Mackenzie Weegar. He's got 1 goal, 11 assists, 12 points. Now for Florida last year, look, they had the President's Trophy. They could have been down 3 or 4 goals, and they can come back and do a lot of other things. In 80 games last year for the Florida Panthers, he had 40 points. He's got 12. He had 44 points. He's got 12 right now. So he's not going to get anywhere close to that pace. And then there's certain times when I see Mackenzie Weegar where I feel like, I know we've called it during some of those games, that it just doesn't seem like he's out there, or I'm not noticing him as much. And I think he needs to step up in the second half.
Yeah, that's very fair. And I didn't want to continue picking on Jonathan Huberdeau either. I think it's the easy pick for someone who needs to improve. And listen, unfortunately, it's not like they've been completely invisible. It's not like 2 ghosts are floating around on the ice surface. But I think that the expectations and the reality are so far apart. I think you and I were reasonable hockey fans and analysts here. Let's just bridge that gap, right? Let's just bridge the gap. 1 or 2 more points a week even makes a big difference for a team like the Flames that do win games by these close margins, that have trouble holding large leads. John, you and I have seen that from the beginning of the season. They've had trouble sticking it out after gaining 2 or 3, or in the case of the Stars game, multiple goal leads that end up shrinking and eventually being whittled away. And who's mostly responsible for that? Of course, the forwards have to contribute. You have to be responsible, back-checking, etc. But those defenders, including Mackenzie Weegar, who you pointed out, yeah, you want point production, but you also need to see that defensive responsibility as well. So Weegar's a great pick, and I'm glad that you mentioned him.
So here is my hardest one, and I'm going to admit to you, there's a couple selections. This is kind of a sneak preview for everybody. There's one in the Central and there's one in the Pacific. And the way that the fan vote ends up working out is you can only take 2 forwards, 2 skaters, and 1 D-man. So in the Central, you have Jason Robertson, which is you have to have him there for the Dallas Stars. So Mikko Rantanen, he's my wild card because Kale McCarr was taken. And that's just very much so because of the stats out in front of it. But this leaves a huge problem. If you want to go with an extra defense, you can't take Miro Heiskanen because his point totals aren't the same amount. Will you take an extra Winnipeg Jet? Because Kyle Connor has about 58 points right now at the halfway marker. And the one guy that wasn't selected in the goalie side because they took Jussi Saros. Who do you take, Cooper? Flip a coin. Jake Ottinger or Connor Hellebuck. It's impossible.
Yeah, that is. Oh man! Of course, you posed me this question just 60 seconds before I have to step away. You give me the challenging one, John. But that's what we got to do. We got to push each other here. So you know what? I am basing this completely on personal bias and having had the opportunity to see Jake Ottinger really become the goalie that he is now. We saw his coming out party in that playoff series against the Flames last year, and if it weren't for a miraculous over-the-shoulder tight angle goal by former Flame Johnny Gaudreau, Dallas may have walked away from that series with the victory. But we watched it happen. We watched Ottinger, and he was so exciting. He's been so critical to Dallas's success. I'm going to go that way. But you could say I could be describing Hellebuck right now if I didn't give you the specifics about the Flames and the Johnny Gaudreau goal. So I'm going to go Ottinger. That's just me, but absolutely flip a coin. Make it 20 coin flips. It doesn't matter which way it comes up. Either one of those guys deserves it.
All right, so when Cooper does come back in the next broadcast, my stuff will be done, and we can go through more of this stuff during the intermission because we want to bounce off each other and get each other's thoughts. I'm working hard on this, so I want to make sure that Cooper Hopkins is a full part of it when he does come back.
Yes, sir. Listen, man, thank you for letting me join you here. I wish I could stick it out for the remainder of the game, but I know you're going to have some fun. I'll check in if I can, if the game's still going on. And I'm looking forward to all the analysis and the write-ups that you're going to be doing. We will chat about them. And I saw that you released your schedule upcoming. I saw that on Twitter. I think I just saw it on the Instagram side as well. So for anybody listening in, check that out on John's accounts. And he gives a great breakdown, always keeping us aware of what he's working on. It's always worth checking into because the man's got knowledge, John. I can say, if there's nothing else, I can say 2 things about you. You own 2 hockey jerseys. One's a Stevie Y, one is a Matty B. and you know what you're talking about when it comes to the NHL. So thanks for letting me jump in, man, and have a great rest of the broadcast. And I will get back on the mic with you soon.
Thank you, buddy. And I'm glad you got that check as well.
Yes, indeed. I will be heading to the bank this week, so the transaction will be complete. And I'm glad you're rocking that Kraken jersey for this game.
All right, man. Have a good week. We'll see you.
Okay, pal. Talk to you soon.
That was Cooper Hopkins. He was joining us here for this first period in this intermission side. So glad to have some fun with that when we come back. We are going to get into the second period puck drop. So always thankful to have that stuff. And as far as the write-ups for the NHL All-Star Awards and everything else, my own selections and team summaries, I'm going to try to hammer that out this week and get that done. So when we get back into our next broadcast, even though it will already be published, when we get back into our next broadcast together, we will talk about more of that stuff during the intermission, because it's always nice to share hockey thoughts amongst peers and guys that just really enjoy the game. So stick right back in the audio broadcast. We'll be right back for puck drop in the second period. We've still got about another 4 minutes, so I'm going to use the restroom real quick, and I'll be right back.
Switch to Verizon. For a limited time, get welcome unlimited. Just $25 a line. And it's guaranteed for 3 years. Got to do it now. Switching. I think it likes running faster.
Now is the best time to switch to Verizon for just $25 a line, guaranteed for 3 years. The savings can last longer than what you want with Verizon.
I'm Dan Cameron, and this is big, but you'll only find it here. Champion Checker Select 3-in-1 comes with lifetime powertrain protection, 10-year roadside assistance, and more. And you'll only find it at Champion. With 7 convenient locations, you win big. At Champion Auto Group, you always finish first. Log on championautoinc.com.
We've taken up running. Couple up to taking up a few new things as well. First, it tracks your distance. Now, it tracks your strength. It knows if on a stroke, I'm on backstroke, and checks for temperature changes to estimate when you're heart rate. When you're dreaming, it's measuring your REM sleep depth for the minute. So, yeah, we do new things.
period to shake off a little bit of that early game rust. They historically win second periods. It's time to bring that confidence in and fight to regain a goal.
Hope that second period trend continues as we send it upstairs to John Forsland and JT Brown. Okay, Tom, thanks very much. One more thought on first period play from JT.
Yeah, I think that Seattle just needs to get a little bit quicker, make a few more tape-to-tape passes, get the puck in behind Tampa's defenseman, and try to establish that forecheck a little bit better in the second.
Okay, let's check out the numbers after the first period and take a look at all of this. What's striking, too, is the fact that Tampa Bay...
So it's 15 shots to 6. At the end of the first period, Edward Belmar scored off the tip, assisted by Ian Cole and Corey Perry. It has been a period in the first as Cooper Hopkins joined me to call that one, which I was very thankful for, in the sense of it's been all Tampa. They're trying to get Steven Stamkos goal number 500. You could tell that on the first power play by Tampa. Seattle was able to kill that off. So Tampa's power play humming about 29%. Penalty kill at 68% for the Seattle Kraken. And we'll see if that ends up coming into play. It did not in the first period, but it was good pressure there by Tampa. They're trying to go 2-0 in the season series. It's an interconference matchup there, so you only meet twice. And it is a sold-out Climate Pledge Arena after 8 wins in a row and a 7-game homestand. The first NHL history to complete it successfully with 7 straight wins. So going to get set for second period puck drop. Seattle is going to have to play a back-to-back. They are going to travel to Rogers Place to play the Edmonton Oilers as soon as they're done with this game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So after that long road stand, the schedule does not get any easier here for Seattle. So we are underway. It is Hagel now for Hedman. And it's going to go left to right in the second period. It's the white jerseys on the road with the blue pants for the Tampa Bay Lightning and the home navy there for the Seattle Kraken as they'll be going right to left. We'll see what happens in this second period as this goes down to the St. Louis Blues product, Vince Dunn, as he was picked up in the entry draft in the Oliver Bjorkstrand, and in full flight this will get dumped in. Picked up there by Hedman. Hedman's about 6'5", and you can tell all of them as he gets down the ice. This one's ice. This one gets touched by Jimmy Alexiak, former Dallas Stars product. He's a big man himself. So Lightning leaders this season in goals. Brayden Point with 25, Nikita Kucherov 45 apples. So Nikita Kucherov is the points man with 62 right now for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay coming into this one winners of 7 out of the last 10. They feel like the same Tampa team. Again, Stamkos, 1 goal away from 500. We might see that tonight. Brandon Hagel, 16, 19, 35, and a +10. He's having a great part of his second season. Again, he's not completely one season all the way in because he was a pick up for the trade deadline last year. So Susie gets us across now. Andre Burakovsky gains the entry off the backhand nicely, but then good active back check by Tampa. Cancel that off by Anthony Cirelli. Toward the right side wall, Matty Beniers gets us across the red line and will be safely entered in by Seattle. Andrei Vasilevsky will play this one as this gets stolen. Matty Beniers trying to keep it alive and use the body to shield the puck off the left side wall. We'll just put it in deep, and Matty Beniers gets knocked off the puck there as it goes to Steven Stamkos. He wants 500. He might get that in this game. That's what they wanted to look for in the first power play. We'll see if that stays the same. And Stamkos tried to snipe the right side of the post off a turnover there by Grubauer off the pass behind the net. And Burakovsky, as this can't be held in by Alex Killorn. This will get put in across the wall. Jordan Eberle, and it's Matty Beniers now, trying to get a stick lift. Some active work there, but he can't get around Steven Stamkos, who was the second help. This one stays in, and Will Borgen's slap shot goes way wide. Jared McCann will send this in for Eberle, and this gets picked up now by Tampa Bay Lightning. We'll just slap shot this off the inboards. This might take a friendly bounce for Ross Colton, but it just eluded him. 15 shots to 6. John out here with you. I'm your play-by-play man. I'm thankful to join by Cooper Hopkins in that first period as we had some good lively discussion, a good live look at this game early. As this puck goes up and onto the glass, 17:38 left to go in the second. So active goal leaders. Alex Ovechkin, 810. Sidney Crosby, 538. Steven Stamkos, 1 away from 500. And Gino, Evgeny Malkin, 458. 4 Hall of Famers on my TV screen right now. We got the Root Sports feed. John Forslund on the play-by-play side for the TV side. John, I'm your play-by-play man right now on the YouTube side and Twitter Spaces. Thank you for joining me. Watching this one on ESPN Plus. Sergachev. This gets turned right over. That was a casual pass. And this one got roofed high just toward the left side of the post. Not used to seeing Mikhail Sergachev just making a blind pass like that. Here's a chance for Tanev. This goes off the headboards. And Seattle tried to rush it really quickly to put it past the big cat. But it just missed the net. And now here's some pressure. Vince Dunn looking for the deflection. And now Sergachev can take an extra beat as Tampa had their first brush of the heart pacing a little bit toward the right side of the boards. Seattle now toward the right side wall. Geeky will take his time. He's on the fourth line now because of the injury to Jaden Shorts, but Seattle's got a lot of depth. Geeky will take his time in behind Phil Grubauer. 6 giveaways to 6, and I'll make that 7 as it's into the neutral zone. Right now, Tampa's got the edge on that side. As this one gets flipped to Jordan Eberle. Nice active stick check. Gains the entry toward the right side wall. It's a 2-on-1. Sauce pass looking across, and that goes off the skate of one of the Tampa Bay Lightning. So Seattle getting a little bit of push in this middle frame. Perry picks this up toward the boards. Carson Soucy can't get there now. Vlad Nemestikov, the fourth line side out there for John Cooper's squad. They hold it in. This bounces off the skate. Eberle tries to get to it. Now it's Burakovsky holding off the backhand with a little stutter step. He finds his way to the left side wall. This goes back D. Will Borgen with the tipper. And now Carson Soucy. And this goes right in the breadbasket of Big Cat. Andre Vasilevsky makes the save. 15 shots to 9 now in favor of Tampa. They're still out in front with the Pierre-Edouard Bellemare tip out in front. About a minute 30 left to go in that first. That's where they were. We're in the second period right now. It's still 1-0. Good rush there by Seattle, and that was kind of caused from a turnover there, a casual one at that from Mikhail Sergachev. It turned in some opportunities here for the Seattle Kraken. So Brayden Tanev, 9 points in his last 12 games, 4 goals and 5 assists as this gets picked up by Hayden Fleury. Hayden Fleury will get this across, and now Kucherov off the backhand. He makes it look easy when he enters the zone. Kucherov now toward the left wall, but it gets canceled off. Seattle, outstretched pass a little bit too far for Yanni Gourde, former Tampa Bay man, as this goes back to Mikhail Sergachev. This gets chipped off nicely across the wall. Brandon Hagel trying to gain the entry, but it gets canceled off by Ryan Donato, picked up by Yanni Gourde. Yanni Gourde's going to have to hold off the backhand, trying to work his way to the forehand toward the left side of the red line. He can't do it, though. Brayden Point, that's a 2-on-2. As this one gets flipped in here for Hagel. Brayden Point tries to get to it now, and he does. Adam Larson has to be quick about it. And Point had it just checked away from him at the last second with the active stick. Yanni Gourde. This goes back to Vince Dunn now toward the right side of the dot. 15 minutes left to go in this second frame. John, I'm here with you from Climate Pledge Arena. We're watching this one on ESPN Plus on the Root Sports feed, and I apologize on the YouTube side that I can't show you part of the game, otherwise it'd be demonetized and taken out of the stream. So I hope you just enjoy the play-by-play. Full game story going to follow at hopelesssportsguide.wordpress.com. So Jamie Alexiak will get this one ahead to Matty Beniers. He looks for an outstretched pass. Has a chance to get Jordan Eberle there for the moment, but this was played by the Big Cat. Beniers now behind the office of Vasilevsky. And this is an entry picked up in their own end by Tampa. Ross Colton with the pass across. Now Alex Killorn gets around a couple of checks, but Alexiak eventually wins the battle before this goes back to Patrick Maroon. Pass across the red line now. A pull pass for Steven Stamkos. He'll settle things down for Bellemare and try to find it as they've mixed the lines for John Cooper's squad right now. Picked up across the red line, Turbo. A couple active stick checks. And now this goes back into the neutral zone. Stamkos. Get a hold of it. Hedman, his pass gets blocked and collected by Jamie Alexiak. 13:50 left to go in this first. In the second, I should say. And now this is picked up by Daniel Sprong. As he'll put this toward the right side wall. Tanev finishes his check. And now this goes to Hedman to Pagosian as they'll play crisscrossing behind the net of the Big Cat. Picked up here by the jerseys in the home Navy, the Seattle Kraken. Again, the crowd is anxious to see Seattle get on the board here. It's just a 1-0 game, as this is a big hit that's canceled off by Eberle. Vince Dunn trying to finish a check as well. It's kept across the blue line side off the jump pass. Carson Soucy keeps it alive, and Sprong gets his stick lifted in behind the net. Zach Bogosian and Victor Hedman been out there for about a minute 15 now, as this gets slapped down out of the air and played with a offensive zone, neutral zone draw upcoming, I should say. Can't do that. So we'll go to a commercial break. 13-11 left to go in the second. It's 1-0 in favor of Tampa Bay Lightning. Come right back. Now that I'm by myself on this side, I appreciate it, Grizz. I don't know if you're still sticking in here. You said you should be a commentator for the NHL. I'm not a commentator for the NHL, but I love to be able to commentate NHL games. So hopefully I can work my way up the ladder at some point. Again, 35 years old, cerebral palsy, all that stuff might make it hard, but still, it's fun to do. It's fun to be able to write about these games. I do a lot of stuff between Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, and college affiliates. So that's usually the coverage that I make. I know it's been a lot of hockey lately, but I promise we'll diversify that as we go along. There's just certain matchups that I can't keep my eyes off and stay away from, if you know what I mean. You want to find some things that are good. So what ended up happening last week was I was going to have a Thursday night game between the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics, and then Kevin Durant ended up getting a knee injury. So we turned that into Dallas Stars, New York Rangers, and you know how that one went. That was a buzzer beater goal by Keandre Miller, and Adam Fox finished it off. It was a good pivot assignment. So sometimes the NHL can stay that riveting where I just can't get away from it. I kind of fell in love with it a little bit. I started with a lot of basketball. I worked with Mark Champion at OU, took his class. I know he used to be the Lions commentator. Now he works for the Pistons and stuff. He just told me to stick with it. I know I was a little rough around the edges, but keep sticking with it, keep trying to write, keep doing other things that will work out for you, and just you get better and better at it. And I got to meet Cooper Hopkins. We talked with him in the first period, and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Sergachev with the slapper as we come back in from the break as this gets collected by Hagel. It's another offensive zone draw win by Tampa. We'll see if they can make something happen with it. And Grubauer doesn't know where it was. And the shot for Kucherov goes up and out of the boards in the netting. So Philip Grubauer has made 15 out of 16 saves. Seattle Kraken have just 8 shots. So Grubauer, he makes the first save. This gets loose in the high slot, and Kucherov, his second opportunity goes off of the stick. So Kucherov gets 1 shot. Kucherov gets 2 shots. He got his own rebound. Second one went up and over on play. So 15 games played for Gruby here, and we'll see what he can do. It's a save percentage that he wants to be able to continue to improve. There's another face-off win by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Kucherov was just denied twice in tight by Grubauer. Now picked up for the Tampa Bay Lightning as well as Alex Gourde gets canceled off the puck. Steven Stamkos trying to play this toward the neutral zone of left side wall, as the fans will get a good look at it if they're paying good money for those type of seats out in front. And this gets collected by Killorn, but he's forced to make a play because Adam Larson able to steal it. 12:20 left to go in the second frame. Eli Tolvanen will get the dump in as he indirects this pass off of Yanni Gourde. Tolvanen now against Sergachev toward the left side face-off dot. And we'll see if Seattle can start to make some inroads and get some puck possession. Seattle's 0-3 all-time against the Lightning. Again, they could be 0-4. They only meet twice a year, and they're only in their second year. They're pretty much in their inception. So they have yet to beat Tampa just yet. Although this game is close, Tampa has carried the weight of the play, and that is obvious even for those that haven't watched this one and are just listening across. So picked up now for Burakovsky, trying to find a chance for Jordan Eberle toward the left side of the red line. It's Matty Beniers. We'll send this one, but this goes up into the netting. We get a stoppage. 11:42 left to go in this middle frame. 17 shots to 8 in favor of the Tampa Bay Lightning. The one goal was a pure Edward Belmar tip. And let me give you the exact time on that one in the reset, because it's really all we have to talk about at this point. 18:43, a tip in front. He got great positioning. Nobody picked them up. It's a 1-0 lead for Tampa as we're getting close to the halfway point of this middle frame. 1-0 lead for the Bolts. Face-off win in the defensive zone by Tampa. They'll look to break out left to right. Good entry there for Kucherov. Couple of setups. Brayden looking for a cross pass for Brandon Hagel. but this gets answered by Vince Dunn. He's going to make a pass in between two Lightning players, and he does. This one's going to go all the way down the ice, so it's icing. So Seattle's offensive personnel cannot change. 11:24 left to go. So I got to tell you, and I mentioned this a couple times, and I had to mention this when Cooper Hopkins was in there. Thank you for the jersey. Yes, he got his check in the mail, so he's going to get that all cashed and squared away now. So he's all good. But these home navies for the Seattle Kraken, even though the Detroit Red Wings are my team, broadcaster from Detroit, Michigan, you got to be able to find that second jersey, right? The next player that can be there for a while and stay with the team. It's always hard to find those jerseys, those type of players. Selected Matty Beniers because of the U of M man. He was the second pick. He was the first pick for Seattle. He's out there on the draw right now, and I think I'm glad I did. That was the right one to take. And these jerseys are immaculate. I've said that in the broadcast before. The first time being in Seattle, we'll say it again because it is the truth. As this is picked up now, racing toward the left wing side is Jordan Eberle. Has to get around the head of Victor Hedman, and now Matty Beniers. He turned on the Jets there momentarily. But Seattle has to find this in their own end as Nikita Kucherov. Got a little bit of snow in his face as he was trying to trade pick all the way down now for the puck cancel. Now it's Chernak. Chernak right into the breadbasket of Grubauer as he holds on. 10:57 left to go in the second. 17 shots to 8. As Chernak just let one go. It's been a while since Tampa had a shot, but it's been even more of a long time for Seattle since they had theirs. 8 shots for Seattle. Kraken prospect watch, forward Shane Wright, the number 4 pick, 6 points in 3 games at OHL Windsor. He is another prospect that's upcoming on the pipeline. Ron Francis has done an excellent job. Again, I think they pretty much nailed the Matty Beniers selection. He had pretty much Wolverines to select from within the first 4 picks. When you had Owen Power, Matty Beniers, Ken Johnson, there was a lot going on over there. So the Kraken fans were a little bit upset. They thought there was a little bit of a takedown. And Perry will keep this alive toward the left side of the red line, and a turbo will collect off the backhand, but this finds the stick of Zach Bogosian. Susi for Tanev. They'll play crisscross, but it's a turnover in behind the cage. You got to watch out here now. Zach Bogosian, as this goes off a stick, trying to find a puck battle. There's Tampa. And again, another turnover. It's Corey Perry. And he took a little bit too long to shoot that one. It allowed Grubauer to find his bearings and make the save with Nemestikov on the doorstep. So Seattle didn't have a clean defensive clear, and that allowed Tampa to be able to get that puck possession, get another shot. And like I said, with Cooper Hopkins in the first period, and I've noticed it watching throughout this game, Tampa's done an excellent job of holding on that blue line, creating more chances for themselves, and hemming Seattle in, keeping their shifts long. And if they continue to do that, even on a team that rolls 4 lines like Seattle with double-digit goal scorers, they can wear you down. Tampa's played an excellent game right now. They're 10-9 on the road, but they're playing like a team right now that should be much better on that side. They're excellent on the late arena, just like Seattle is excellent away from Climate Pledge. It's kind of funny the way that works. Seattle's 10-8-2 at home. Climate Pledge is where we are now. So Jamie Alexiak will just play this toward an open right wing. Goes a chance for Oliver Bjorkstrand. This gets flipped up in the air. This actually goes toward Nick Paul. He didn't know where it was. Pat Maroon runs into Mikhail Sergachev. This is going to allow Seattle with an opportunity. And, oh, man, they really should have shot that one. Was Jared McCann. They had a slapper right in the slot. Even if it is Andre Vasilevsky, you got to test him. As this is one-on-one. Justin Schultz will win the puck battle in his own end. Turbo, Yanni Gourde, and now McCann going to set this one up there for Gourde. And this one gets blasted off the left pad of the Big Cat. Seattle. Alex Wenberg get this one back to center as the Kraken attempt to reorganize, trying to hold that blue line as everybody was in the midst of changes and the ref was in the same spot as well. Massive humanity toward the players' bench. Tampa take their time now with Ross Colton. Settle it down in behind the net now as Tampa still enjoying the 1-0 lead. Not a lot to talk about as far as offensive production, but this has been an excellent game with some bated breath. I've really enjoyed it on both sides as this is picked up by Gourde, former Tampa man. Good job for Bjorkstrand. He could split the middle. And he elected to shoot so quickly, he just roofed it. Vasilevsky just had to watch it whistle by his ear. Missed opportunity there for Seattle. Commercial break at 39 left.
nuggets all for $5. Wait, that can't be right. Just confirm that that's the real price. Have it your way.
This is Cynthia Suarez, CFO of GoGo Food Co., an online food delivery service. Business is steady. Until
GoGo Food Co. Go check it out.
overnight, users tripled, which meant hiring 20 new employees and buying 20 new laptops. So she used her American Express business card, which gives her more membership rewards points on her business purchases.
Somebody order some laptops?
Cynthia Suarez, CFO, MBB. Get the card built for business by American Express.
Did you know that in 1 year, we won 22,000 speeding-related crashes in Michigan? Did you know that most speeding tickets in Michigan cost over $100? You know it now, so slow it down.
At this collision between Sergachev and Maroon out in front of the net. Sergachev stumbles, falls right into Maroon. He did take a brief walk down the Tampa Bay Lightning tunnel. Made his way back. During the TV timeout, had a little skate, testing things out. Does look like he is still on the bench now. So good thing no injury on the play. Can be tough like that when something falls down around your feet.
So the one thing to mention, and Root Sports just said it with JT Brown and John Forslund, that collision that we just talked about between Mikhail Sergachev and Pat Maroon had to walk it off on the right part of the leg. It looks like he's okay, and he's back on the players' bench now. That would have been a big development for Tampa. You don't want to lose somebody like him. He can be a linchpin on that third and fourth line side. 3-time Stanley Cup champion, twice with Tampa, once with St. Louis Blues. He was trying to go for 4 straight, but the Colorado Avalanche ended up lifting the thing, as Cooper and I called. That was an excellent broadcast, and one that I will never forget. Hopefully when we get a chance to do that again when the time comes, he'll be right back in the booth with me. So picked up now, Steven Stamkos. This is going to be a defensive zone draw, as this was iced. Seattle really needs to win this one, but Stammer will get it. Now gives Tampa some puck possession here toward the left side of the red line. Nice little spin pass there by Stamkos. See if they can find something there for Hagel as this gets flipped down the ice. Picked up into the neutral zone as now Seattle, as Tampa had to check back up and get back on side. Alex Killorn was not. And now Seattle has some possession. Split pass right down the middle. Wenberg, a little bit too much passing there, but it was only just knocked away. Sorelli couldn't get it out of the zone. And now he finally will, as this will touch the stick of Killorn. And now Seattle can go all the way back. Adam Larson with his pass just goes toward the right wing side. And Stamkos looking for goal number 500 toward the right side post, trying to get around Adam Larson. Hagel will chip this one out front looking for Kucherov, but that one is a little wide. Burakovsky gains the entry. It's 1-on-4. He finds some help. Larson gets stick lifted. Then he just fires one toward the left side of the post, and that one goes just wide. So excellent back check there by the Tampa Bay Lightning, even though that was a great entry by the Seattle Kraken. So Burakovsky will just put this toward the right side corner. Jared McCann will go in there to finish a check. And now Tampa, in their own end, this Brayden Point will help out for the 200-foot game. Now he's going to get the stretch pass, Point full flight, and they get canceled off there by Carson Soucy. Picked up by Seattle now. Across the red line is Jamie Alexiak. He could power his way all the way to the net. And this goes right into the catching glove of the Big Cat. Good play there by Jamie Alexiak. Again, it's been a while since Seattle had a shot. Just a couple of shots, really, in this second period. Maybe I would say 3. Alexiak just makes a play to the left side of the wall. A little bit of a pick there set by Jordan Eberle as well. Allowed Jamie Alexiak to just buzz the tower there. Andre Vasilevsky, he didn't look to make a move. Again, he's a 6'5" defenseman. You wouldn't expect him to do too much of that. Still, great move, though, and a good shot. You have to be able to get one. And a defensive zone face-off win again. And are we getting a penalty or are we getting another drop? Pat Maroon, he just came back. Again, he got clipped by his own man in Mikhail Sergachev and got knocked down. So Tampa is going to the box. This is Zach Bogosian. So that was the trip. So right off the draw, Yanni Gourde, it's Oliver Bjorkstrand trying to race it in to pick up the puck, and Bogosian just takes the legs right underneath him. So this is an opportunity here for the Seattle Kraken in their first possession. Cooper Hopkins had said they had some good puck movement all the way across, even though they had some more shots. They did. So here's an opportunity to be able to get some more shots. They only got 10. Tampa's got 18. Daniel Sprong got 4 power play goals in the season. That was the zoom-in part. You got the TV broadcast on Root Sports. That's where I'm watching it. Between Tampa and Seattle, you have 2 really good broadcasts, so you're not missing out on either side depending on where you like to listen. Picked up now by Schultz. Is now Sprong. As this toward the right side. Dot looking for a deflection off the outside of the cage as Matty Beniers was trying to obscure the vision of the big cat. Now Sprong will wait as this goes Matty Beniers. Matty Beniers back pass here for Sprong. Back pass gets touched up there by Justin Schultz. Sprong set this up here for Eberle. Sprong fake the slapper. Now go back to spun around Schultz. Burakovsky. Beniers. You shoot short side. This one gets fought off there by Vasilevsky. Burakovsky still with it now. Sauce pass. Kept in. Sprong with the one-timer. Rebound. Vasilevsky got that one too. This is kept in by Seattle, though, with a diving shot block. And now Burakovsky gets this back around the horn. It's Daniel Sprong as a touch pass across. Sprong looking for Beniers, and now this one can't be held. And this will have to go back to Justin Schultz. Vasilevsky with his best save of the game right now off the double dip. Back pass. Got to be careful here. And Tampa will just diving shot block this thing out of the zone. As this goes back now to Vince Dunn. Second power play line out there right now for Dave Hakstol's squad. This will be collected off the long pass. Vince Dunn. Turnover there against Victor Hedman. See if that can be cleared out. And yes, it can. Mikhail Sergachev will get to it. I'll leave this here for Philip Grubauer. Try this one more time. We'll see. I only got 30 seconds left to go on the man advantage. It's the second one of the game for them. Just one for Tampa. This has been a brisk game so far. Picked up now Alex Weinberg as Jared McCann toward the left side of the wall. We'll get this back D to D. Vince Dunn will set this one across here for Tolvanen. As this touched the glove of Vasilevsky, try to get cleared out off the backhand, and it is. Can't hold the blue line as Vince Dunn. 5 seconds left to go on the power play side as Vasilevsky will leave this there for Big Victor Hedman. Will play this off the plate. This touches the jersey of Jared McCann, and now Tampa might have something here. It's a 2-on-1. Killorn, drop pass for Victor Hedman. He gets stick lifted, but he's strong. He stays with it. Hayden Fleury going to let it go into the traffic, and that got shut down by Grubauer. And now a penalty upcoming against Seattle, and maybe it could be dosed. There's a tripping on that side. I don't think so, though. So it'll be the second power play upcoming for Tampa. It's kind of the way it went up the first one. Seattle got one, and then Tampa got one. And Seattle got one, and then Tampa got one in this period. Back-to-back right after that. Pair of saves in a row for Andre Vasilevsky, and a good block there by Ian Cole. 4:28 left to go in the middle frame. Still 1-0 Tampa. They're on the power play when we come back.
Okay, have your kids fine? Well, I'm not interested. I get it. Not everyone wants to save money. I don't know. Renters and homeowners can bundle and save. What? Trip to Bora Bora?
I appreciate you guys listening along on the Twitter Spaces side and the YouTube side. Been a little bit more foot traffic than I'm used to in this game so far, but hopefully you guys are enjoying it. It's a big-time matchup. I haven't been able to cover Seattle too many times, only a couple times for Tampa as well. So I figured this would be a huge game, early one at that, and then matinee one for me because it's East Coast time. So Cooper Hopkins was able to join me, which was really cool in the first period. This was a 4 p.m. puck drop in the East, 1 p.m. Pacific for him. So a little matinee start, so that was very appreciative on that side. And as far as my schedule this week for broadcasting, I don't think there's going to be too many. I'm going to try to get one on Saturday. I'm working on an NHL All-Star selection where it's going to be one player I like and one player that needs to improve, the official All-Star selections, and my ballot picks alongside team summaries. The Eastern Conference is completely finished. I have to get the Western Conference done. So that's going to take me some extra time to get all that stuff done, but I anticipate that will be done by this week. I'm going to have to put in some major leg work like I did last night. It was a little bit of a long night coming into this broadcast now, but that's going to be my schedule for the week. So once that's done, probably get something going on the weekend. That might be a basketball assignment. Unless Cooper Hopkins is available, then we can pivot. Let's see who this penalty is on. So coming back in from the break, it's Oliver Bjorkstrand. He got a chip across the legs of Victor Hedman. So he's going to go to the box for slashing. 4:28 left to go in the second frame. It's still a 1-0 lead for the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's it, and that's all. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare got a late tip in the first period. So Tampa on their second power play. Victor Hedman, Kucherov off the pad of Grubauer. That was a stick save at that turbo. Trying to clear this one, Kucherov, keeping it alive. We'll see if Stamkos can get numero 500 here. He's got 499. So the puck gets cleared down the ice. Victor Hedman will touch back up. 1:30 left to go in the Tampa Bay power play. Sent to the box was Oliver Bjorkstrand for slashing. Gives Tampa the second power play. Seattle's 0 for 2 right now. Tampa's 0 for 1 as this gets cleared down the ice again. 1:15 left to go on the Tampa man advantage. Victor Hedman will take his time, try to quarterback this thing one more time. He'll drop it back. They like to get this to point sometimes too. He's going to race toward the right side wall. And now Hagel getting the entry there with the help of Kucherov. Kucherov take his time to the right post, and now it's Victor Hedman. Back to Kucherov. Kucherov now to Hedman. See if he lets go of the bottom. He gives it back to Kucherov instead for the one-timer. That one gets blocked by Carson Soucy and back down the ice. Race for the puck. Yanni Gourde tried to stick lift his former teammate, Victor Hedman. And now back to point as he gains the entry up the 1-on-3. Drop this here for Stamkos. And he overskated it. Yanni Gourde got a piece of him. 30 seconds left to go on the Tampa man advantage. Brayden point across the Seattle Kraken tentacle. Point leaves this here for Perry. Point's not been able to change. He's been out there for a long time. Kucherov is the same. In the sense of the one-timer, that one gets fought off there by Grubauer off of the stick. And this goes back to Kucherov. They're outside the line, and Tampa's going to check back up. Brayden point gains the entry there for Perry. Perry, nice little stick handle across the wall. Moves it toward the left side dot. Fake the slapper. Kucherov with an extra pass. Grubauer is down, and the play is not stopped just yet. Now it is. Grubauer makes the save as he lost his stick. He stretched out toward the left post. He is okay. He's got the puck underneath him, and Tampa goes 0 for 2 on the man advantage so far, just like Seattle. It was a fake slap pass, and that was a tip, and Corey Perry was right on the doorstep. He had the puck bounce off of his skate, and that's what stopped it. And Corey Perry, he was trying to jam away at it, but it hit the right pad of Grubauer and snapped the twig right in half. So good work there by Grubauer. He made the stretch save with the last part of the stretch Armstrong part of the leg that he could. 2:26 left to go in this middle frame. Both teams 0 for 2 on the man advantage. Matty Beniers gets kicked out of the faceoff circle, and Eberle loses it. This will go back to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Fake the pass. Chernak tried to set it up there for Ian Cole, and this gets picked off, but Ross Colton will go back to retrieve it here for the Bolts. Beniers will drop pass. He got blasted up the right side inboards. That's an offside entry. Seattle just elected to play this one quickly. They want to get a neutral zone draw with 2:09 left to go in the second. The one thing I noticed there for Seattle, we talk about a little bit of the punch, counter punch delivered by Tampa having the pace of this game. For Seattle on the other end of it, they got to be able to win some of these draws consistently. Tampa's kind of schooling them, or at least I feel like it. Anytime it's something important, they just win it. If they win again, it's picked up now by Pat Maroon. Pat Maroon trying to flip this one, but Daniel Sprong able to get the momentarily steal. Is Dunn. Keeps it in for Larson, looking for the deflection shot way wide. As this gets picked up now across the red line, it's a race for the puck. It's Ian Cole trying to get around Carson Soucy, and now Nick Paul will join in. It's Alex Wenberg. He was sandwiched across the right side wall. Jared McCann just trying to flip it out, and now flipped in by Tampa. Touch the stick of Grubauer. Vince Dunn has to get around the head. He does. It will stay on his feet. But this will go all the way back to Mikhail Sergachev, the newly minted $7 million man, and well-deserved at that. Sergachev. Take his time now. In behind the neutral zone, here comes Tampa Bay trying to go left to right for the rest of the second period. They are in the road whites with the blue pants. It is the home navy for the Seattle Kraken with the turquoise, if you want to call it, on the arms and the legs picked up there. Carson Soucy got ran into, but he still stays with the puck, trying to keep it alive. Belmar tried to center it up, but a good stick by Seattle canceled it off. Soucy will leave this here for Will Borgen. It's busy now. Back in behind the office of Philip Grubauer. This just played off out of center, cleared down, and now dumped right back in. Philip Grubauer had the clear go right over his stick, and now they have to go back because Eli Tolvanen will help it out. Vince Dunn's been stuck out there for a long time. He's going to need a change. 30 seconds left to go in the second. Carson Soucy flips it. Picked up by Oliver Bjorkstrand, trying to make a play toward the left side of the red line. Picked up by Gourde, but only for a second there. Now Stamkos is going to be out for the rest of the 20 seconds. He'll flip it across the red line with the help there of Anthony Cirelli. Jamie Alexiak will cancel him off with the big body. But this is toward the left side of the face-off dot. Battle for the puck now. Cirelli tries to get to it with the help of Bogosian. This will go to Seattle. Seattle will safely flip this down to center ice, and that ends the second period. It's still the same as it was in the first, 1-0. Tampa's got the edge, courtesy of a pure Edward Belmar deflection. We'll see if anything changes in the third. Come right back.
To you, it may just be an elevator. Here goes nothing. But for a young homeowner becoming their parents, it's a learning opportunity. Come on in. The more the merrier. Paris, huh? Bonjour. We got any out-of-towners in the elevator? No. It is not easy. 10th floor, huh? Must be a heck of a view. Okay. See how everyone else is facing this way?
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money.
This is terrible. You know, hang back. We're going to try that again.
With more cars, trucks, and SUVs arriving every day, it's time to choose Champion. Take it from me, Dan Patrick. Champion's ready to save you big money.
Shop new Chevys, Chryslers, Jeeps, Dodges, Rams, even new Buicks and GMCs. Plus, shop over 1,000 pre-owned vehicles, all backed by our lifetime powertrain warranty.
At Champion Auto Group, you always finish first. Log on, championautoinc.com.
Eat like a king who's on a budget. 3 tasty options, fries, drinking nuggets, all for 5 bucks. That can't be right. Just confirm that that's the real price. Having your way.
92% of households that kick off the year with Peloton are still active a year later.
Yeah, actively using it as a coat rack.
Congrats on 50 rides!
Okay, but it's still just as bad. Just like the Let's go.
Come on, Dad, the drone is speaking. Who got this?
You'll give up eventually.
Seriously? 92%.
92% stick with it. So you can 30-day home trial today. Terms apply.
Ron speaking.
Great news, Sprong. You're going to be in the FanDuel Super Bowl commercial.
Nice. So I just lift up my phone and say, new FanDuel customers bet $5, win $150.
Exactly. And FanDuel is putting up a $10 million payout when you kick a field goal during the Super Bowl.
Wait, I don't kick, I catch.
And it's going to be live.
Why?
It's called the Kick of Destiny. I love. How bad?
Oh boy. Bet $5 now, get 150 in free bets. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Hidden Valley Ranch makes pizza extra.
Just typing in a couple things, and then we'll get right back to a second period intermission. There won't be a lot of hockey games on the early side, but I'm sure there are some basketball games that we can go over. All right, so after the second period, the score is the same as it was in the first. It's still 1-0 for Tampa. We'll just get a little bit of a reset there before I take a quick break again. Score is still 1-0 Tampa. The shots on goal after 2 now are 23-12 in favor of the Bolts. Tampa's still just kind of locking this game down right now. Seattle's kind of been hemmed in their own zone. There's been a lot of clears, a lot of neutral zone battles. Things have been won by Tampa. They're kind of dictating the pace of the play. We've kind of noticed that through most of this entire game. That has not changed. Both teams had gotten a power play in each period. Both teams have not converted just yet. 0 for 2 on the power play. The one note coming in was Seattle was averaging about 29% on their power play. Seattle Kraken's penalty kill was about 68%. They've killed both, so those numbers have gone up exponentially, but it's still a first period goal. At the 18:43, it was tipped in front by Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. Ian Cole and Corey Perry got the primary and tertiary assist. No goals to speak of for the Seattle Kraken. No goals in that second period. Still a 1-0 lead for Tampa. I am going to take a quick little reset, and then when we come back, I will give you a look around the league. Probably do some NBA games as well, because not a lot of early games going on in the NHL just yet. So stick with me. I'll be right back. I will be right back. Give me 2 minutes, and then we'll take a look around the league.
Well, first off, Tom, I've seen you be flexible sometimes. You look like Gumby, so you don't need to worry about any hospitalizations. But in terms of the fourth line, in that second period, I thought they were arguably the most impactful line for the Kraken. And you think about faceoffs, how important they are. But you got to know if you lose your draw and if you win the faceoff, what are you doing? In this case, Tampa gains possession, but you've got Sprong and Brayden on the right side of the defensive side. Good coming hard back through the middle for Morgan. Kiki forces the turnover, and that's what leads to the chance for Brayden. Here's Turbo once again, blocking a shot off of a faceoff win, and then another play that starts with a faceoff. It's like a rugby scrum. You got everybody there, you win the faceoff, and you can get out of the zone. So when you're in a fourth line position and situation, your ice time is limited. That means you got to do something when you do have it. So that the faceoffs were very important, and great to see that effort going all period long for the Kraken's fourth line.
Look, the first period was playing heavily in Tampa Bay's favor. That was a very balanced second period. So in terms of adjustments, Allison, what did you see?
Well, the fourth line, as Nick just explained, has been crucial. They've been generating the most shot quality through this winning streak in 2023. But it starts actually with defense. There were a lot fewer shots coming off Tampa Bay's sticks in period 2. And part of that is defensive ability, but part of it is also getting back to that transition game that we talked about. The Kraken returned to just under their 80% season average of successful exit rate. So that means they were able to generate more offense of their own. And as a result, in the second period, like this Kraken team always seems to do, they controlled the shot volume battle and the shot quality battle. Now, Andrei Vasilevsky has been exceptional. We know he is a championship caliber goaltender, but if the Kraken continue to mount this attack, they only increase their chances of getting some pucks in that net.
Tampa Bay with 15 shots.
So thank you for sticking with me. This will be a second period look around the league. We're probably going to do some NBA look as well. Not a lot of games going on. There is one final locally to be able to tell you about, though, and we'll get to that one. So it was a 6-3 win for the Colorado Avalanche over the Detroit Red Wings. They have games in hand to the Avalanche because of the water main break at Bridgestone Arena. And because of that water main break, Colorado is able to have some games in hand. They're still recovering for some injuries. They did not have issues scoring goals today. So Arturi Lehkonen and Mikhail got the scoring started. It was 2-0 after 1 against the Red Wings. And then how about 3 more goals? A string of 5 for the Avalanche. Cale Makar, Comfort, Nathan McKinnon, all the big boys. It's 5-0 for the Avalanche over the Red Wings. Red Wings try to make a push. Again, for Detroit, it's too many times from the over of late where they just get behind the 8 ball and then try to make a late surge. They cannot start on time. Andrew Kopp got the lone goal the second period. It was Ben Chirac that made it 5-2. Nathan McKinnon salted the wounds there 6-2, and the final was 6-3 as Morris Sider got his 4th of the season. Pavel Francouz took the win, 26 saves out of 29 opportunities. Ville Husso was pulled or actually Magnus Hellberg, got the start, and Ville Husso had to come in relief. So Magnus Hellberg, I believe that was the case. So Ville Husso was pulled over 2 periods, So 17 out of 22, Magnus Hellberg made 4 out of 5 in the third. So that's all that was. Not good there for the Red Wings, but you would expect that. At the end of 2, it's Sharks 2, Devils 1. That's the only other live score besides our game, which is a 1-0 lead for the Lightning over the Kraken. I think there are some good games at the end of the night now. And we have a couple finals to talk about on this MLK Day. It's a 6-0 win for the Bruins over the Flyers. The Flyers had won 3 games in a row after John Tortorella told those guys to throw away the iPads. So David Pastrnak with a couple. Pavel Zacha just got minted. He had a couple as well with Brad Marchand and Matt Grzelcyk. And a 6-0 win. Jeremy Swayman got a 29 save. Shut up. It was Carter Hart, and let me make sure I get this name right, Samuel Ersson that split time in net. Carter Hart gave up 4. He made just 12 saves. Ersson made 11 saves out of 13 in a 6-0 loss. And the other final are the Panthers. They were all over the Sabres 4-1. It started 2-0. It was a pair of goals in the first and second. It was Brandon Montour and Sam Bennett. It was 2-0 after 2. Antoine Lundell made it 3-0, 34 seconds in the third. Alex Tuck got an unassisted goal to make it 3-1 at 11:27 before Carter Verhaeghe put one in the empty net to salt the game away, his 20th from Matthew Tkachuk and Gustav Forsling. Other games going on later today, Stars and Golden Knights, their puck drop will be about a half hour. That should be a good one. Rangers and Blue Jackets, Ducks and Pens will be at 7 as well. The Caps and Oilers at 7:30. Cooper Hopkins' squad, the Calgary Flames, they're in action against the Nashville Predators. It'll be the Sens and Blues at 8 Eastern as well. Those are your hockey games for the evening. Let's go across to the NBA scoreboard. If you guys are cool with that, we'll look at it. There should be some games going on in this MLK Day. That's usually they get a lot of that stuff done early. So any finals to tell you about? There is a little bit. So the Celtics took out the Hornets 130-118. The Bucks all over the Pacers 132-119. The Cavs upended the Pelicans 113-103. And the Warriors hold off the Wizards 127-118. They got a road win. They're 5-17 away from the Chase Center. That is absolutely awful considering the type of team that they have. Live scores to tell you about. We're in the middle of OT. The Raptors trying to hold off the Knicks 121-115. The Knicks have the ball right now. They are down 6. The Heat and the Hawks. Hawks have a 114-108 lead. That one is tight with 1:09 left in the fourth. And in the third quarter, it's the Timberwolves barely have the edge over the Jazz. 22-22 is Minnesota. 22-24 is the Jazz. Timberwolves got the lead 86-83 at the moment. Kicking off on TNT a little later is Suns and Grizzlies at 6. That should be a good game, but the Grizzlies are the much better team. The Suns are beat up. And on NBA TV, the nightcap will be Rockets and Lakers. Lakers had a tough loss to the 76ers the other day. See if they can rebound. Your NFL game for the day, it should be the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will host a game in Tampa because they won the division at 8-9. Cowboys could have won the division if it wasn't for the Philadelphia Eagles. They were 12-5 this season. So here's the thing for me. I'm not as much of an NFL astute knowledge base, but the way that Dak Prescott has played over the last 5 to 6 games, he's made some questionable decisions with the football. He's thrown some turnovers. Tampa has looked terrible for their offense for most of the time. They stretch in a little bit. They'll get some points where they can be clutch. Tom Brady can be Tom. Yes, he can be Tom in the playoffs. I have no doubt about that. Team's been beat up too. So right now, the over-under is at 45 points, so that would kind of believe that maybe it would be like a 23-20 type game, something like that. That would be somewhere close to what they're thinking. But Dallas is favored by a field goal. I feel they should be favored by a field goal. And if Dallas was playing better, they probably should be favored by more, even on the road, if they've been playing better. But the way that Dak has been, I think this could be a really ugly, low-scoring game. What say you guys? Your other NFL scores, let's just do this from the wild card weekend. It was, I'm going to pull all the way back here. So the San Francisco 49ers, they got a big win in the second half. They're able to close out the Seahawks. Cooper Hopkins' team on that side, Steve Toll's team, my former work partner for Hanson Marketing over here in Michigan, is 41-23. Brock Purdy had a good game at the end. Jacksonville, I don't know if it's a stunner, but Jacksonville beat the LA Chargers 31-30. I guess the stunner was in the broadcast booth when you had Al Michaels, and that there was a little bit of a comatose part of it during that broadcast. That was the stunner for me. Buffalo edged Miami 34-31. I thought they were going to stop the fish, and they did not. That was kind of what they expected on the Buffalo side. Josh Allen, he had a lot of yards like he usually does, but he threw a couple picks. And the Minnesota Vikings, for all the fans and all the people that like to say it was a fraudulent team, they got bested by the Giants 31-24. And Cincinnati held off the Baltimore Ravens, the Lamar Jackson-less Ravens at that 24-17 to move on from wild card weekend in the football. It's one and done. That's the way it is. So those are your teams that advance. San Francisco, Jacksonville, Buffalo, New York Giants, and Cincinnati. Seattle, LA Chargers, Miami, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Baltimore Ravens. Their season comes to an end. So the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs will be in action this weekend now because their bye is over.
Just confirm that that's the real price.
That was a little bit of my reset to get all that in, and I will be back. I'm going to stay here with you, but I'll be back. I'll rest the pipes to begin the third period puck drop. I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm going to get this game story and everything else done. hopefulsportsguy.wordpress.com with the play-by-play. So it's got our first period with Cooper Hopkins, myself in the entirety, and then I take the pauses when I'm by myself during the commercial breaks.
Everybody involved. It was a better second than it was first. Continue to roll four lines. This Kraken team, when they're at their best, everybody's going.
And everybody's not only going, I'd like to see a little bit more offense in total. More chances, more opportunities to score.
See if the Kraken can over.
With the cough drop and everything else going, let's make sure I can survive this third. Keep everything sharp. It's going to be a little bit of a break as far as the broadcasting side because I got to get my NHL coverage and article out for this week. I want to get that for the All-Star selections and my selections and team summaries and all that. The Eastern Conference is done. I got to get to the West. So I'm going to take some time to get that done this week. My next broadcast probably Saturday. If Cooper Hopkins is able to join me, we can pivot to an NHL assignment. If I'm by myself, I may do an NBA game. We'll see how that one goes. I wanted to get this one done, though, because Seattle just started NHL history with the 7-game road stand where they won them all. So it's a big contest against Tampa Bay. If Tampa Bay wins, they'll be 4-0 against Seattle in their brief inception as an NHL team. If you want some clear audio, or you want to be able to join in with me, I am at John Reinott, just like this handle on the YouTube side, on Twitter Spaces. If you want that, that's on the phone side. It's going to be the front end of a back-to-back for Seattle. They're going to have to play the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow at Rogers Place. Steven Stamkos still waiting for goal number 500 if he can get to it. Tampa Bay still enjoying a 1-0 lead, courtesy of Pierre-Edouard Bellemare from a deflection in the first period. Seattle has an 8-game win streak on the line. We'll see what they can do here in this third period. We're at Climate Pledge. John, out here, your play-by-play man. Let's strap in. It's time for the third period. 23 shots to 12 in favor of the Lightning. They have one goal. They're going to go right to left in this period. They have the road white jerseys with the blue pants, and the Seattle Kraken are in the home navies. They're going to go left to right. Take their time now as Vince Dunn. His pass hits nobody in particular, but able to be saving there off the back pass is Yanni Gourde as he goes back out there with Eli Tolvin, and he's stuck toward the right side boards. He's trying to fight out Victor Hedman. It's a race for the puck. It's Oliver Bjorkstrand now. See if I'll just flutter this one out. I'll put it off the inboards. This takes a bounce off the back of the cage. This will go back to Larson with the deflection, and that got fought off there by Vasilevsky with the left pad. I'll turn up this TV just a tad. As Hagel looks for a pass, picked up now to the right side wall as Larson and Hagel collided. Hagel never stopped off that forecheck. See if he's okay. Alex Wenberg going to drop one off, and that slap shot got whistled way wide by Carson Soucy. Everything got close to the left post. And now it's a 2-on-1. Trying to hold the side was Pat Maroon, and he never got a chance to get that cross pass. It was Colton and Maroon. Colton took a shot. It was fought off by Grubauer. I thought there was going to be a 2-on-1 cross pass. Picked up now by Tampa, though. As they'll take their time, it's Nick Paul. He's toward the left side wall now. Going to try to leave it here for Pat Maroon, canceled off by Justin Schultz. Schultz now take his time across the red line. And picked up here by McCann. He's got 22 goals to lead the Seattle Kraken. Had a couple goals against Chicago Blackhawks as well in the big 8-5 win to close out the road stand. Well, Borgen is now Paul gets there, and Chernak will collect. If Tampa does get to an empty net situation, I would be very surprised if Steven Stamkos wasn't the recipient, as they're trying to get him 500 and go 4-0 against the Tampa Bay Lightning, 2-0 in this season. They only play 2 times in the interconference matchups. Eberle pass is too strong for him. As this gets cleared up by Hayden Fleury, now Alex Killorn will come back to relieve the danger. Here comes Stamkos. It's a 1-on-3 entry, back check pass. And now it's Cirelli with a back pass toward the left side of the red line. Collected by Seattle. This is Vince Dunn, the St. Louis Blues product. He's having one hell of a season. Matty Beniers will put this out dangerously in front for Eberle, but he couldn't find him there. Stamkos with the touch. Eberle comes back to knock it away. Alex Killorn will send this around the right side red line. D-to-D, Bogosian. That one goes wide. Grubauer is down. He's got to get back up. There is a puck in behind his office right now. A battle toward the right side. Is this a penalty against Tampa? Grubauer went down awkwardly. I didn't see anything else, unless this is Matty Beniers. He's got his hand up there. He's looking up to the sky. But we'll see what happens. I think this could be on Tampa, but I'll have to get my clarifications here. See if this is pulled up on the box. Right now, this is 2 minutes for interference on goaltender Philip Grubauer. That's what I thought, because Grubauer went down awkwardly toward the right side of the red line. So off the one-timer, Killorn was there. Wow, honestly, guys, if I take a second look at that there, if they show it, I didn't see much. Killorn was kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't know if John Cooper would be really happy with that one, but he's probably not going to be happy in general because it's usually a silly penalty. But now this is an opportunity for Seattle, their third power play of the game. They've had one each period, just like Tampa's had so far, with the exception of this third. I told them. We'll get this one. Alex Wenberg, now Tolvanen, tries to collect. Wenberg will kick it toward the right side of the wall, and now collect by Eric Chernak. He's going to slap shot this one all the way around the end boards. This has touched the stick of Philip Grubauer. 16:45 left to go in this third period. John here, your play-by-play man. We're watching this one on ESPN Plus, courtesy of Root Sports. John Forsland, JT Brown. John Ott, I'm your play-by-play man on the Root Sports side. 1:25 left to go on the Seattle power play. Tolvanen will get this across. Vince Dunn will play this one there. As McCann gets this back to Dunn. Dunn with the shot. This one gets blocked. He gloves it down. Here's an opportunity for Tampa. And Vince Dunn able to get a diving stick check away from Brayden Hagel before he had a breakaway. That's a prime example of why Vince Dunn is a plus 25 this season on the back end. Schultz will drop this back, and Seattle looks to get organized across the red line. Put this across the right side of the wall. And now Sergachev will come together. Seattle just throws this toward the right side of the boards and dump down. Victor Hedman will get his long reach to it, send it down. Schultz will take his time. 30 seconds left to go on the Seattle Kraken power play. There's not been much on the power play for either side. Combined, they'd be 0 for 5 if Seattle doesn't score here. It'd be 0 for 3 for Seattle. Hedman toward the forehand. He's just using that big body to kill time toward that wall. Daniel Sprong trying to pry this one loose, but it's Mikhail Sergachev who will get to it and get across the neutral zone now. Sergachev still takes his time. He gets the easy entry. Shot gets fought out there by Grubauer, hit him in the stomach. And now Paul will get some zone time. It's an offensive zone time for Seattle. So now this is a killed offensive zone time for Tampa, is able to kill that for about 15 seconds, but they do kill the power play. Seattle's now 0 for 3. Adam Larson. Vince Dunn get this across the red line now safely, but it's picked across the neutral zone by Tampa. Here's a chance now for Anthony Cirelli. It's 1-on-3. He's going to fire the shot. It bounces off of one of the Seattle players and glove down, knocked out of the air. As this is picked up by Ian Cole. Ian Cole finds us now here for Grubauer. Grubauer will make the pass along the right side end boards. Yanni Gourde will come together to try to fight loose. Tampa gets the steal of Vladimir Mestikov, but only momentarily as Morgan Geeky will send this across the red line. 14:30 left to go in this third period. John, here with you. Still a 1-0 lead for Tampa. It's been that way all the way through, courtesy of Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. With about a minute 30 left in the first off a tip. So point toward the left side of the wall. Canceled off by Will Borgen. It's a small hit, but Brayden Point fights it off. Nikita Kucherov, he's dangerous always. As they'll go D-to-D, one-timer. This one goes wide toward the right side of the glass. Chipped down by Seattle. Race for the puck. There's a chance for Jared McCann, but he can't find it. This is lost in between a couple of skate blades, and Seattle going to get an offside entry. 14 minutes left to go in this third and final frame should the scoreline hold. 1-0 Tampa has the lead at Climate Pledge. Seattle is riding an 8-game winning streak. It's the longest in the NHL at the moment. They just completed a 7-game perfect road stand, 7-0. And they're going to be playing the next day against Edmonton at Rogers Place. Justin Schultz out there on the defensive side, so it's the second line of Schultz and Alexiak. As this one gets flipped out by Colton. Now Maroon going to launch one toward the right glove. And picked up now by Alexiak. He fumbled it amongst his skates. Daniel Sprong has to come up. So fourth line out there on the forward side for Dave Hakstol's squad. Kept in by Pat Maroon. Pat Maroon will safely send this along as Schultz will cancel it off and behind the inboards, behind the office of Grubauer. Stretch pass is not iced. It was touched off the Tampa stick, but they'll make a long bomb pass. There's Pat Maroon. They caught him all the way toward the other side. A little bit cherry pick, but Pat Maroon's not all that fast nowadays anymore. Vince Dunn overskated, scores! A turnover was costly. Right in front of him, Nick Paul makes it 2-0. They can't turn the puck over right in the middle of the circles. That's exactly what Vince Dunn did. And Nick Paul makes them pay. Pat Maroon, he plays a pass in between his legs. It was a battle. Vince Dunn tried to find it. He lost it in between his skates. Nick Paul fired. He fired the short side shoulder of Philip Grubauer, who was down in the butterfly, and he lifted it over Philip Grubauer and gives a 2-0 lead for the Tampa Bay Lightning. 13-10 in the third. So Pierre-Edouard Bellemare and Nicholas Paul are your goal scorers there for Tampa. They got a 2-0 lead. They're feeling good right now. Seattle has not been able to get anything going in this game. They're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination, but they haven't shown an ability to punch and actually get into the offensive zone. But again, that's to be expected after a homestand like this, road stand like that, and come back and play in Tampa. I mean, I totally understand that. So nothing crazy, but they need this push. And the one-timer is canceled off. That was Cirelli right out in front, and Grubauer made a fantastic save. And now Ian Cole will get to it. Ian Cole takes his time. Tampa now up by 2-0, courtesy of Nick Paul, with a wrist shot in tight over Grubauer's shoulder. Seattle can settle it down. Bjork Strand gains the entry. He's going to get the long wrist shot. This one's held by Grubauer. Then he tried to play it and almost lost it right into Eli Tolvanen. Sergachev Here's a chance now for Paul. Justin Schultz will get to it now. Tries to clear the right side wall. It's a race for the puck. Eli Tolvanen trying to be in full flight. Keeps it alive. Cross pass Yanni Gourde. And he missed the one-timer in the middle of the slot. That would have felt good against his former team, I bet. Aiden Fleury will find it now, but it does get clear out of the zone. 11:45 left to go in this third. Tampa has just taken a 2-0 lead, courtesy of Nicholas Paul. Now Larson has it. Still skating with it across the red line. He'll slap shot this one in. As Seattle trying to gain some entries. They've just not been able to do much in this whole game as far as offensive opportunities. Jared McCann, it's the tip off of Larson. It's loose out in front, and Burakovsky can't get to it. Hagel will send it all the way back in his own end, try to be able to get some reinforcements and give an opportunity there for Ryan Donato. Donato, now Hagel gets back to it. Gets turned over, though. Hagel's been out there for a long time. Larson, this gets tipped before whatever hit Vasilevsky, though. They were aiming for the right side of the glove. Hedman, now collected there by Zach Bogosian. He's being hounded by Donato. Seattle's really kind of turned up the heat in the kitchen right now since giving up the second goal. That's good to see. They haven't had a lot of it right now. It hasn't even really been on a simmer. It's a 3-on-2 developing here for Tampa. Brandon Hagel will find it at the left side of the red dot. Battle now toward the left side of the red line as this is picked up here by Wenberg. He's in his own end. The second line's out there right now for Dave Hakstol's squad. And across the red line, picked off here by Tampa. Brayden Point tried to make something happen off the windmill, Deke. And now here's Daniel Sprong. It's 1-on-3. Daniel Sprong going to buy some time with the half spin, hold on that L2, and he's going to fire a shot. This bounces off a turbo. Tanev will wrap it. He'll miss it. He got cross-checked and taken down, no call. And this gets flipped by Kucherov, but not out. Kept it across the blue line. Here's a chance for Nick Paul. Nick Paul's got a partial break trying to use that body alive, but good back check there by Donato. Maroon keeps it alive across the blue line side. Pat Maroon will try to center it out in the middle of slot, and this gets canceled off by Turbo. Turbo can reset it. We'll go ahead and take his change. The D are stuck out there right now. It's 8 giveaways to 5. Tampa's only giving away 5, 13 hits to 12 in favor of the Bolts, 11 block shots to 10 in favor of the Bolts, 15 takeaways for Seattle. But they've had some giveaways. One of them that cost them, Vince Dunn got stuck as he lost it in between his skates. Kind of a tough luck play, but it does happen. Picked up in the middle of the slot. Colton will chip this here for Pat Maroon. Pat Maroon is smart about it. He plays this across the red line side. Alexiak. Here's an opportunity for Jared McCann. He's the leading goal scorer for Tampa. This one goes off the stick shaft of the Big Cat, and we get a media timeout. 9:21 left to go in the third. Nick Paul has made this a 2-0 game. Come right back. We're getting close to finishing it off.
I'll remember that chapter of my life forever.
It's been a fun game on both sides. I'm glad anyone's been able to stick around on the YouTube side. I appreciate it humbly that you guys have stuck around. A couple likes there as well. Always appreciate those because you don't get those too much. It's really just my ugly face cam. But again, for those that haven't seen it, I know I have cerebral palsy, so it might make this hard to see on the side of we're standing. But Matty Beniers, I was able to get that from Cooper Hopkins. I sent him the check in the mail as far as all of that. So that's all bought and paid for. I'll be wearing this anytime I end up doing the Seattle game. Again, I have a Steve Eisman jersey and a Matty Beniers. I know it's a lofty company for Beniers on that side, but still, it's one of those situations where you try to find a next jersey at some point. You want to have someone that's going to stay there. That's the one I selected, and I think it's been a good decision at that point. Because a 20-year-old out of U of M, he's been good this year, and he's the lone all-star representative out of the official ones at that. I think the fan vote finally just canceled off on that side. It's a good game, though, right now. 2-0. Nick Paul has just given Tampa the lead.
Did you know that in 1 year there were more than 20?
2-0 Tampa Bay. What a chance. A nice feed from Donato, one touch.
So from the commercial break, they showed Donato with the one-touch pass on that side. Jared McCann had the latest opportunity as that went off the stick shaft of Vasilevsky.
He's able to make a big-time save there. Verizon, reliable performance.
So here's a stat for you. Jared McCann, 91% of his offense comes from even strength. That's 20 of his 22 goals How about that? That's how you get the job done. Cooper Hopkins said it. You can say the same thing from the New Jersey Devils on that side. When you're good on 5-on-5 play, that's what coaches want. Vince Dunn scores! It gets tipped in front, and Seattle is on the board. They got this with 9:16 left. It was a face-off win. This got tipped in front, and we'll see who the goal is going to be for. I believe this is going to be Vince Dunn's goal. Maybe somebody out in front, but I'll take a look at it. It's just a simple face-off win. Oliver Bjorkstrand. Larson gets it to Dunn. That had to have gotten tipped. That was a nasty play right out in front. No, it did not actually. This one does go off of Vince Dunn. That was a little bit of a looper shot. I'd be surprised if that wasn't a goal for somebody else. But other than that, Vince Dunn has the first of the game, a 7-game point streak, 11 points. So maybe a turnover that went against Vince Dunn. But you know what you do? You get back on the board, get back on that horse, you score a goal. Now it's a 2-1 game. So Tampa's lead is cut back down to 1. 9:16 left in the third. 4 goals in the last 7 games. As Seattle's had life. They've had life throughout the game. They've been able to stay into it, but they just need to have a little bit of pressure. There you go. Face-off win, a shot back from the point. It goes in. So 9 minutes left to go in this third. We should be set for a good finish. Steven Stamkos still sitting on $4.99. They get to an empty netter, maybe. Could be Stamkos for $500. There's a shot from the point for Schultz. And that one got sent high and wide. Tolvanen can't hold it. Jamie Alexiak. I guess they did touch up there as Oliver Bjorkstrand got taken for a ride by Cirelli. And there is a ton of stick collections there between Cirelli. Bjorkstrand, we'll get to it though. Yanni Gourde plays this off the right side wall. And now Tampa will flip it. It's Ian Cole off the hand side. And now Alex Killorn. He'll gain the entry. He's looking for reinforcements. Good drop pass set up there for Hagel. Off the wrist shot. And that was sealed off by Philip Grubauer with a great glove save. That was right and tight between the circles. 8:21 left to go in the third, and now some pushing and shoving as Oliver Bjorkstrand is getting fed his lunch a little bit on that side. So we're going another commercial break. It's a 2-1 game now, courtesy of Vince Dunn with the slap shot goal. 8:21 left, come right back. This should be a good finish.
Meet Chef Cliff, owner of Don't Be Sour, a sourdough donut company. She was flying back from a conference when she got a text. She needed a bigger fridge for her back and she was going to fulfill her orders. So she used her American Express business card to earn membership rewards points on her big ticket purchase. She got the new fridge, fulfilled the orders, and with her extra points, she got new equipment that allowed her to expand her business by rolling out a new product. Get the card, built for business by American Express.
Eat like a king who's on a budget. 3 tasty options, fries, drink, and nuggets, all for $5. Wait, that can't be right. Just confirm that that's the real price. Have it your way.
I'm Danica Patrick, and this is big, but you'll only find it here.
Champion Automotive Group Pre-Owned.
Champion Checkered Flag Pre-Owned comes with lifetime powertrain protection, 10-year roadside assistance, and more. And you'll only find it at Champion.
Over 1,000 pre-owned to choose from.
With 7 convenient locations, you win big. At Champion Auto Group, you always finish first. Log on, championautoinc.com.
Together, we change the world with stories you love on Hulu.
Where's the guy?
The must-see blockbusters on Disney Plus. They're together in a brand new bundle.
We work well together.
All for just $9.99 a month.
This is one beautiful family right here.
Oh, look at that face-off booker right there. He wants a t-shirt back. Somebody throw him a t-shirt. They're all hyped up on candy. Saw him earlier with a root beer, no caffeine, but still a lot of sugar in there.
Brown family, beautiful wife, Lexi, the kids. Ladies, you can come out here on a day we have so many kids in the building.
Don't get too often when you get that early game. We still have to.
This is a offensive zone draw upcoming here for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and all of a sudden it becomes a little more critical because Seattle just scored the latest goal. 8:21 left in the third. It's Vince Dunn that got Seattle on the board. The shot board is 20-18 in favor of the Bolts, but Seattle is now within 1. Nick Paul and Vince Dunn with your goal scorers in this third. Pierre Edward Bellemare got the lone goal in the first when Cooper Hopkins was with me on the broadcast. 10:44 marker from Vince Dunn from Larson and Matty Beniers, so he picks up the assist. 8:05 left to go in the third. This gets dumped down. Race for the puck now. Here's a chance for Hagel. He needs some reinforcements, though. Trying to leave it around for Brayden Point. This goes along the outside wall. Victor Hedman, nice touch-up pass. It was 3 players on the blue line, so good work there for Sergachev. Tried to get collected there by Kucherov as he got shouldered off the puck. He picked across the red line now, but it's not out. And now Hagel does have to get off the ice. I think he got stuck in a little bit of offside just in case if they couldn't hold that blue line. He was out there for an awfully long time. 7:44 left to go in the third. Again, 28 shots to 18 in favor of the Bolts. A 2-1 score line. It was Bellemare and Nick Paul with the goals. Vince Dunn, the lone goal for Seattle, just scored late in the third to make this game a 2-1 game. And Dunn, a little bit of push on Bogosian. 27 points in the last 14 games for Dunn and Larson combined with a plus-minus of 46. That is lofty, lofty company, especially when you think about Seattle is just their second year in their inception. Ron Francis has done an excellent job, so has the rest of the coaching staff and everybody involved, identifying the players that are good. Picked up across by Burakovsky. He's going to turn around away from the pressure. Burakovsky keep it alive off the backhand. Now here's Jordan Eberle on his off wing. He's going to power to the backhand. He's toward the right side of the red line. Spun off the kick plate now. Nick Paul will gain some entry as Nick Paul will just loftily use that body to be able to provide a hit and punch it loose. Pat Maroon. Ian Cole fake the slapper. That one gets blocked. And now this picked up here by Paul. Paul, nice pass out in front, but Colton had to take some extra time to get that beaten. The second shot goes off Grubauer's mask. Sergachev looking for the tip without the Colton. And that one goes just wide. It's in the left side red line corner. Sergachev will crisscross as they'll go D to D. Now a shot for Aiden Fleury. And that one goes wide. Sergachev will find it, bounce right back to him. Here's a chance for Corey Perry. He was able to toe drag a little bit just to get some extra space. And now Jordan Eberle with the flip. We'll just put it ahead. The Kraken are stuck on a change. Tampa's got a really good opportunity here to get something going if Corey Perry wanted to be aggressive, but he just flipped that in instead to Yanni Gourde. Yanni Gourde lost it toward the right side of the boards to Vlad Nemestikov. Corey Perry sent this around the kick plate now to Victor Hedman. And now Bellemare lost it. This could be a nice developing 3-on-2, but great play by Bellemare to break it up. Vlad Nemestikov wants the slap pass. He doesn't get it. And Seattle stuck on the left side red line board. So there's been a battle for it. And now this will go back to Eli Tolvanen. Tolvanen will casually flip this one in between all sorts of traffic nicely. Jamie Alexiak has this on the right side wall. He's going to shoot a short shot. That one gets sold by Vasilevsky, but this is still with Seattle. Now a little bit of push. Bogosian, I think, got a little bit of his he did. He got a push back there on Yanni Gourde, his former teammate. As we'll get another commercial break. Vince Dunn was the latest goal scorer. It's a 2-1 game. 5:50 left in the third. Can Seattle continue this 8-game win streak? We'll see what happens when we come back. What's going on, SG Sports Talk? How are you doing there, buddy? Hopefully you're having a great day. What's going on with you, man? Anything new? The Sharks are winning 3-2 against the New Jersey Devils. That would be a big result there. That's not what New Jersey wants as far as dropping points in the Metro. That's what it is right now with 6:41 left in the third, so I appreciate your update. A couple other live scores. Maybe I can get to these really quickly. There was a final 6-3 for the Avs over the Red Wings. A couple finals, Panthers 4-1 over the Sabres, 6-0 for the Bruins over the Flyers. Live scores at that. It is 2-1 in our game between the Lightning and the Kraken. 3-2 Sharks had lead over the Devils, and 1-0 Stars over the Golden Knights as it stands right now. So Pierre Edward Bellemare with his second in the first from Ian Cole and Corey Perry. There was nothing in the second. There was Nick Paul unassisted with his 16th, and Vince Dunn, the latest goal scorer, to make it 2-1 for the Kraken, assisted by Adam Larson for his 16th assist of the season so far. Carlson and Timo Meyer with the goals for the San Jose Sharks. Thank you for that, SG Sports Talk.
But there's one thing that he doesn't do, and that's quit. He's always getting himself into the positions, whether it's taking a hit, giving a hit, laying the body on the line. That's what you want.
So face off. This one's one to the neutral zone by the Seattle Kraken. But Tampa will send this out against Seattle Kraken to go left to right in the third period. They're in their home navies. They just came off of a perfect 7-0 homestand, the first in NHL history. They're running an 8-game win streak. This is Tampa, an opportunity for them to go 4-0 against the Seattle Kraken over the 2 years. Again, you only meet twice a year in these interconference matchups. Ian Cole takes in his sweet time as this gets picked up there. Wenberg gets the steal under the neutral zone, trying to drop it in for Jared McCann. He's got 22 in the season. That leads the Seattle Kraken. Fake the slap pass as this goes back to McCann toward the right side faceoff dot. Trying to get around Ian Cole as he holds off the backhand. He'll spin as McCann with an extra spin, still holding. He doesn't like the wraparound. He runs out of gasoline. He tries the shot dive and he can't get there. He just ran out of gas. Stamkos puts this live and around the boards. Again, he's sitting at $4.99. You think with an empty net pull, this could be Stamkos. They tried to get him on the first power play when it was just Stamkos featured, when Cooper Hopkins was with me on the broadcast. So this is picked up now toward the right side boards. Oliver Bjorkstrand able to gain an entry as Sergachev falls down, but the puck goes just wide of the right dot. Held in toward the left side blue line. Bodies everywhere. Turnaround shot. That got fought off there by the big cat. As Tampa will flip this one down. 4:15 left to go. Good stick lift there by Seattle. They're keeping this alive toward the right side wall now. They'll put a pass that got around. It's Justin Schultz keeping in across the blue line side. And now Bjorkstrand. Get it back to Schultz. Schultz toward the right side. This gets fought off by Gourde. Off the rebound opportunity goes wide. Seattle trying to buzz with a little bit of puck possession now. 3:57 left to go in this third. They're down by 1. Vince Dunn was the latest goal scorer. And now Tampa gets this across the blue line side. Picked up by Bjorkstrand. They'll hold as he's patient. The clock is not Seattle's friend right now. 3:35 left to go in the third frame. John here with you on the play-by-play side. We're watching on the Root Sports feed on ESPN Plus with John Forslund and JT Brown. You got good feeds on both sides regardless. So picked up now off the backhand as this gets away from Will Borgen. And now Burakovsky will keep it in. Matty Beniers. He's going to take a wrist shot. That one gets fought off by Chernak before it ever hit Vasilevsky. Beniers will take his time toward the right side boards. Burakovsky will try to get to it. Ian Cole will flip it out, but I don't think it's out just yet. This is in deep. Seattle has them hemmed right now. Burakovsky into the traffic. That was fought off there by the big cat, but Seattle can't keep it as this goes back now to Will Borgen. Carson Soucy, patient with the pass. This one gets tipped. This touches the stick of the cat right now, so 2:45 left to go in this third. Tampa still holding on to a 2-1 lead. The shots are 28-21 now. Seattle's making a little bit of a surge, but they're going to need to pull the goalie very soon if they can get a chance to. This is not cleared out. Held in there by Belmar, who scored the first of the game. Corey Perry is the fourth line's out there right now for John Cooper's squad. 2:25 left to go in this third. Seattle down a goal. They're riding an 8-game win streak, and it could all come to an end right now. Picked up by Seattle. They'll try to go left to right. Alex Wenberg, here's a chance. One-time shot. That one gets fought off by Vasilevsky. Ryan Donato let go a big bomb. It's now Larson into the tip. This one gets tipped high, but it doesn't find anyone toward the left side wall. Blind Domestikov will get this cleared down as we hit the 2-minute marker of this third period. It's a 2-1 lead for Tampa. We'll see if Seattle will soon vacate the goal crease and Philip Grubauer for an extra attacker. And across the blue line side, it touches Andre Vasilevsky's goal stick. Away goes Grubauer. Flip down the ice by, it's a race that's won, and it's won by the Tampa Bay Lightning, who finishes this one off. It's Brayden Hagel. He beat 2 players to the puck. He finishes it off and makes it a 3-1 lead for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I was just going to say, when is Philip Grubauer going to vacate the goal crease? It was a slap shot by Donato that was solved by Vasilevsky off the 1-on-1. And then on the other side, a foot to the puck, Brandon Hagel split the scene, and between Justin Schultz and everybody else, he scores the empty net goal. It gives Tampa a 3-1 lead, and that's probably going to be all she wrote with a minute 39 left in this third. It's been a great game all the way across the board, though. I have no complaints. John Cooper's got to be happy about that. And look, Cooper Hopkins and I said this as early as we did throughout the broadcast in the sense of how serious is Tampa going to take Seattle? They've been doing all these things. They're right on the doorstep of being first in the Pacific. I think you have to. And Tampa put their front foot on the gas the whole way through, and they were able to shut down Seattle and dictate the pace of this game. It was Hagel on the empty net from Killorn and Chernak as we got 1:15 left to go in this third. Flipped across, shadow away as Matty Beniers gets knocked off the puck and flipped down. Touches the goal stick of Grubauer. Grubauer only gave up a couple. He was pretty good in this contest. Andrew Vasilevsky was just a little bit better. He didn't face as many high-scoring opportunities, but he only gave up one. Jared McCann will get this toward the blue line side, but it gets turned over in Seattle. Empties their net again. We'll see if they're really going to try to find anything else. It's Victor Hedman. Victor Hedman is just going to put in the empty net. He wanted to look for Stamkos. Hedman's going to get an extra one. So they really took an extra beat to find Stamkos. Hedman just says, thank you very much, I'll take it. Seattle went for the showcase. They had to pull the goalie. They're going to be down by 3 now, but I think that's what you had to do. They were going for the win. They weren't going to get the 2 points out of it anyway, but that's how it goes. Victor Hedman, he wanted to find Stamkos. It was cut off. They didn't want him to get number 500. So Victor Hedman put it in the empty net again the second time this period, and now it's a 4-1 lead for Tampa. So the scoreline is going to look a bit more lopsided than it actually was. But neutral zone, face-off won there by the Seattle Kraken. As Soucy gets it into the middle of the ice, picked up now by Hayden Fleury. The 8-game win streak for the Seattle Kraken will come to the end, and the Tampa Bay Lightning, they're one of those teams that can do that to you. They've won 8 of the last 11 now, and Seattle doesn't have any time to really rest. They have to go back to Rogers Place tomorrow to play off the back-to-back. Oregon with a shot. That one gets fought off by the Big Cat, and now we're down to 10 seconds left to go in this third. Thank you for joining me here on this broadcast. It's been pretty active all the way across. HopefulSportsGuide.wordpress.com. That'll be where the game story and the broadcast is. This gets held by Grubauer, and that's going to end the clock and the time in the game itself. 4-1 is your final. The Bolts take the win over the Seattle Kraken on the road. Thank you for joining me, guys. I will probably be back next weekend for another broadcast, and thank you to Cooper Hopkins that joined me for this first period. It was a lot of fun. Good game today. Tampa wins this one 4-1. I will see you guys very, very soon. Peace. Have a safe week.
This game belongs to Andre Vasilevsky and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Stay tuned for Kraken postgame presented by Verizon. That starts right now. Let's go downstairs and rejoin Tom and Allison.
Thank you guys for joining me. Yes, it was a great win by Tampa. Top 5 goaltenders are Hellebuyck, Shesterkin, Sorokin, Kemper, and Jones. I actually like that one by you there, SG. On that side of it, I was working on some of my top pieces, and I'm thinking about my goaltenders. I have Hellebuyck. I have Sorokin. Martin Jones, again, because you have to take somebody in the Pacific, I guess you have to go that route. But when I'm thinking about some of these other goaltenders, let me go ahead and see if I can look in before I close out officially. Let me pull up my notes that I had in front of me as far as what I had prepared for the All-Star Game nominees, just to see if I have anything else, because I think that we're forgetting about somebody else in the Central. Again, I know it's the All-Star side of it. Jake Ottinger, where's Jake on that side? Let me see actually what I had. I had Ilya Samsonov in the Atlantic this year, 12-4-1. 233 goals against, 914 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. He had the 1 entry year deal by Kyle Dubas. I think he's deserving of recognition. So he was my goaltender that I put in as far as my votes in the Atlantic. We'll see what else I had in the Metro. I went with Ilya Sorokin as well. I think you could also go with Vitek Vanacek this year for the New Jersey Devils. He has been one of the best ones. Vitek Vanacek has a 17-5 record with a 235 goals against and a 914 save percentage. So he would be one of those ones that I would throw in the East. And for Jake Ottinger, it's tough because you have Jason Robertson as the lone all-star representative for Dallas, and that makes a lot of sense. You have to do that. I think that's the right call. But you also only have one goaltender on the other side, and you could really flip a coin there in between Hellebuck and on the other side for Jake Ottinger. And for the Pacific side, I actually did this. I know it's not a lot of games played, but to your point, if you're still in here, because I know that you're making it, it's 3 Sharks win 3-2. I'm going to go ahead and say this. For the LA Kings, I know it's only been average goaltending, but they needed it because, again, didn't they waive Cal Peterson? And Jonathan Quick is getting a little bit long in the tooth now, not having the same kind of numbers. I took Phoenix Copley, a 12-2 record, a 259 goals against, a 904 save percentage. Look, I understand those numbers aren't that great, but if you're looking for goaltending in the Pacific, Martin Jones is the obvious one, I think, to throw in there on the side of it, and I think that makes a lot of sense. But low-key, I'll throw Phoenix Copley in there as well. He was my all-star vote on the side of it because if they didn't have that goaltending, I don't think the LA Kings would be anywhere close right now to sniffing third in the Pacific. That's just me. That is great measures by you, though. So Sharks 3, Devils 3, so now with less than a minute remaining in the third period, which kind of irks me. So this is still live? You want to go ahead? I can stick with you for this third period. Let's call this OT if it gets to it. We'll stick around for that. This says end of the third.
You get 2 breakfast sandwiches for $6.
Yeah, we'll flip to it right now. I'll stick with you for this OT, and then I'll sign off.
With this tasty deal, everyone wins.
I flipped off the phone side, and my stream and all that stuff is done. Yeah, we got 5 minutes of sudden death hockey. If we don't get that, we get a shootout.
What's he doing?
He's cleaning the trash cans.
Oh, meeting a new young homeowner for the first time America relies on.
When I just saw this thing, I know this was old, but it said the New Jersey Devils announced there was a broken door behind the net. The first period has prematurely ended. We are in the intermission while they work to fix the issue. What the heck? So I am looking on the replay of the New Jersey Devils feed. I don't have all the rosters and everything else in front of me. So for the Sharks, I won't have as many of those names off the top of my mind. So I apologize. We're going to stick with you for the start of overtime between the New Jersey Devils and the San Jose Sharks. And then I will close out the stream and go ahead and write the rest of the game story for the Kraken and the Tampa Bay Lightning. That was ended up being a 4-1 win for Tampa. So Jack Hughes gets the latest goal. This sends this one to overtime. It's going to be McLeod against Hurdle in on the draw. And now picked up by the New Jersey Devils. 4:50 left to go in the OT. If there is no goal after this, we're going to go to the shootout. 3-3 is the score line. Now here's a chance for Jesper Bratt as he gains the right side red one. A little bit of overhead feed on the MSG side of it. Bratt, stutter step, lost the puck there momentarily, and keep it now in toward the right side red line. A little bit of bonus hockey right now. So it'll be next goal wins. You're going to say the Sharks win 4-3 in overtime as we're going to go SG Sports Talk. So it's kept in. Carlson holds an extra beat. Forehand side will get this one across. As here's a chance for Hurdle. Timo Meier now has it in the left side red line. Meier, leave this here for Carlson. And now Tomas Hurdle. Hurdle gives this one back for Carlson. Very patient is Carlson. And now Timo Meier. Hurdle, crisscross. Here's a pass that's picked off. It's a race for the puck now by New Jersey Devils. But this gets picked up here by James Reimer. He'll put this across the red line. Jesper Bratt gets the steal. That's Andre Palat. He's just back Dougie Hamilton. And Reimer saves that one in tight toward the right side of the dot. So here's the thing. You said 5-3 in OT. The score is 3-3. So we can't get 2 goals in OT. This isn't 5 minutes. This is sudden death. So that's why I have to correct you on that side. So it would be 4-3 whoever wins. Even if it is a shootout, it's going to go 4-3 anyway. So picked up now toward the backhand side for San Jose. Drop pass in the middle of the slot. That one gets solved. Logan Couture able to get denied by Vitek Vanacek in tight. So go Sharks, says SG Sports Talk. There's a good chance there for Logan Couture. So for the Sharks, they got a lot of big-name players, though, even though their record is what it is. I think you get that pick, you get Connor Bedard there possibly, you get a little bit of a quick turnaround. Timo Meier scoring the game-winning goal in OT, says SG Sports Talk. So Lindy Ruff going to go ahead and take this draw. Whatever it is, I want to make sure that I can get all the way through if it goes to the shootout because I got to go to the bathroom here. We're holding this one in. I'm not going to miss this OT. 3:26 left to go. We have some New Jersey fans that have some in-tight chances here. I think that's Andrew Burnett in behind the glass of New Jersey. So he was picked up by New Jersey from the Florida Panthers. That's what I thought I saw. He's the assistant coach now. Jack Hughes with his 29th from Dougie Hamilton and Jesper Bratt was the latest one. That's what forced the OT. He was the lone all-star for New Jersey, and Erik Karlsson's the lone all-star for the San Jose Sharks, as voted on by the NHL. Couture lost it, and this is picked up now. Jack Hughes. Get this one toward the left side of the red line. He gains the entry. He was still able to stay with it the whole way through and then knock down one of Sharks players down the ice. Toe drag. This is turned over. Jack Hughes off the 2-on-1. It's just for Brett. Oh, he got denied off the back check. That would have been a wide open opportunity for the New Jersey Devils to finish that one off. Very, very close. James Reimer could have possibly gotten the stick off of that one. Severson, as this one's flipped down. This will pick by Karlsson. And now here's an opportunity as Karlsson will get it back. He'll gain the entry toward the right sideline. Lets the bomb go. Whistles that one wide up into the netting. And we get a stoppage with 2:38. Top 5 Sharks. Pavelski, Marlowe, Burns, Couture, and Meier. I really like your selection on that side. My one underrated Shark, I'm not going to put him in the top 5, but I remember for my hometown team, the Detroit Red Wings, every time we played against the Sharks, it was also Devin Setaguchi that made our life a living hell. He was one of those underrated ones in the playoffs. But I love your list. Picked up toward the right side red line, Tomas Tatar. We'll get this one. Tatar will take his time. It's Hischier and Hamilton. Hamilton holds. Tatar, good back check, and Tatar can't hold it. It's a 2-on-1 opportunity here for the Sharks. Waiting for the cross pass, extra one off the backhand, sold by Vanacek. Big save and an absolute robbery on Eavesbont. And now the gloves are being dropped. Tomas Tatar puts Eavesbont down in his heavily padded wallet. But I think this fight is going to get stopped before it ever gets started. My goodness. You don't see Tomas Tatar, the former Red Wing, get a little agitated too many times. But they did. A great save by Vanacek. That would have ended the game at 2:14. Great steal there by Eavesbont. He was on his own on a 2-on-1, a cross pass, sent right back to him off the give and go. And it was answered by Vanacek. Huge stop in this overtime. So both fighting. So you love it when two players drop the gloves and fight on the ice. The unfortunate part was we didn't get much of a fight on that side, but I love it as well, my friend, on that side. Especially in this OT. You don't really normally see that at that point. You want to see more of a 3-on-3 arcade style, but Tomas Tatar definitely took exception to some of that. He's got the Dasani in his hand. They usually have that BioSteel side of it. Lindy Ruff taking a look. 2:14 left to go in this OT. It's Tomas Tatar with a little bit of cut toward the top of the glass. Top of that nose. Hurdle. Going to get set to take the draw. Lost it though, so this goes to the New Jersey Devils. And now Nico Hischier keeps us alive off the backhand. It's Hughes, the Jesper Bratt. Gets it back to Hughes. Good stop by Reimer. And a block there by Barabanov. Picked up now. Severson. Here's a chance for Hughes. Holding. Patient. Extra beat off the outside of the cage, but it hits Reimer anyway. Makes the save. 1:49 left to go in this OT. A little bit of bonus hockey here from me before we close off the stream. Thank you to SG Sports Talk for hanging in. Let me know of this OT. A little bit of bonus hockey before I close out the stream.
You see Reimer down and out on his belly. Looks like he's going to be backhanded the net. But Barabanov on the ground somehow gets a body on that shot going to the empty net.
Puck pick up, and this will go back. Nico Hischier. Take his time. As Hischier falls down, but this will go back toward the right side wall. And Hischier again got knocked down. He tried to play one in between the knees, and now he's in behind the officer Reimer. Here's Andre Palat. He's just come back with Tampa Bay Lightning man. This is picked up now by Hischier. Hischier, patient, drops for Palat. Palat lost it. He does get back, and he holds that blue line, though. Palat looking for the extra pass, and this gets picked off by the San Jose Sharks. Sharks take their time, cross the red line now. It's a wide open entry toward the left side dot, looking for Couture. Try to send it there for Timo Meyer. Meyer trying to get around Jack Hughes. Now, he is by himself. He's got all sorts of space, running a little bit of gasoline. It's a chance in the high slot. Hughes off of the slap pass. They were going to easily finish that off. Reimer lost his goal stick, though. It's next to him, but he's not going to collect it just yet, and now he will. As this is a chance for Hughes off a couple stutter steps, and he makes the stop. There's James Reimer. Here come the Sharks. Logan Couture. Little sauce pass out in front. Carlson. He's using that body to try to buy some time. Now Hurdle. Tomas Hurdle has it now. Toward the right side dot. Hurdle lets one go. Vanacek solves it. And this is collected. Hughes. He's been out there for a long time. 10 seconds left to go in the OT. Will they have a shootout, or will New Jersey finish it right here? And the slot shot gets blocked. Down to 2 seconds. Down to 1. Got to fire his Hamilton. He did not. We're going to the shootout. You don't like the sudden death? That's a odd one to say there on that side, SG. I like the sudden death. That's what kind of makes it very interesting on that side. It's a 3-on-3. It's sudden death. It's one of those situations that they've moved it. It's very nerve-wracking. Oh, yeah, if you're one of the teams on there, it's very nerve-wracking. I get you on that side for the Sharks, so you're probably a little nerve-wracking. I get it on that. But, no, that's what makes it fun on the other side. If you want the more organized type play, you get that in the playoffs where it goes to the standard 5-on-5. So shootout upcoming. So we will go at least 3 rounds. And if it's still tied after 3 rounds, we will go until someone gets a definitive result. I don't blame you. The Sharks have been a wonderful franchise for a long time. They've had some down years now, but I think that's going to quickly turn around. Because like I said, I remember when the Red Wings were in the Western Conference, Sharks were always a pain to play against. Not very fun because they're always a very good team. And I always loved when I used to work at the paper at the Open Press. I would come home late during the eastern side when the Red Wings would play on that West Coast side and listen to those games about 12:30 at night as I'm driving home from work. Nick Bonino, the former Pittsburgh Penguin, he is going to be the first to shoot here for the San Jose Sharks against Vitek Vanacek. Bonino skating in slow now between the circles, couple forehands. He lost the edge. Vanacek might have got an actual stick poke in there to knock it away. And I wear my Sharks jersey even when they win or lose. What Sharks jersey is that? Do you got a numbered player or just one of your own, SG? Tomas Tatar, former Red Wing, New Jersey Devil now, over the last few years. He's going to get set to be the first man on the shootout for New Jersey. Tatar, couple forehands, shoots and scores, 5-hole on Reimer. And New Jersey, he's got the lead to shootout, 1-0. No player jersey. Yeah, no problem with that. You're just wearing a standard Sharks jersey. I got the Matty Beniers right now on the Seattle Kraken side. I am a Red Wings fan through and through, but I had to give it for my U of M, man. Courtesy of my broadcast partner, Cooper Hopkins, and thankfully he's going to be cashing that check this week. So here's an opportunity now. Logan Couture needs to score, and 5-hole is solved. Vanacek shuts it down. If New Jersey scores here, this shootout will end. Couture made no mistake about it. He intended to go 5-hole, but Vanacek never opened it up. So Jesper Bratt can finish it off right now for New Jersey. San Jose Sharks get a point no matter what. New Jersey trying to get the second one. Jesper Bratt can score. There comes Bratt toward the right wing side, working his way to the middle of the circle off the backhand. And he kind of flubbed that backhand opportunity. Played a little slow, and Reimer solved it. So the San Jose Sharks, they got to score here or the shootout's going to end. And it'll be a 4-3 win for the New Jersey Devils. So Alexander Barabanov, he is the San Jose Sharks' last hope. Barabanov going to take it toward the right wing side. Skates in between the circles, extra sliver, and he's denied by a diving Vanacek. New Jersey Devils, they come back to steal 2 points from the San Jose Sharks, and they win this one 4-3 tonight on the road. I have my San Jose Sharks jersey, which is full of autographs. Hey, that is very sweet on that side. You take very good care of that one, my man. I'm jealous on that side. Thank you for sticking with me and leaving some comments and letting me know about the overtime that was in the way. A little bit of bonus stream. We covered the Tampa Bay Lightning, the 4-1 win over the Seattle Kraken, and then we got a bonus overtime stream where the New Jersey Devils came back to beat the San Jose Sharks and win this one 4-3. That's it, and that's all for me till about this weekend side until I get my NHL All-Star selections, all that stuff done and typed. So now we'll probably catch back up with you on this weekend unless I'm joined by Cooper Hopkins. And we'll talk to you soon. I hope to get an autograph from Couture and Meyer. I imagine that you will, and I also imagine from the way that you're talking about the Sharks, you go to a lot of games. And get that done because that'd be very, very cool, man. I wish you humbly the best of luck throughout the season and beyond. And I hope that the San Jose Sharks are the ones that get Connor Bedard. That'd be very cool on that side because he was excellent. He covered that during the World Juniors. I had a lot of fun with it. I will see you, man. Have a good one. Peace.